when I went to Central. I said, my goal is to make my name known around this area. I went there and became the bottom.
You the top in Wilson, the bottom at Central.
Instantly.
Did you lose your mojo?
I kept thinking like, oh man, I need to get some more stuff under my belt before I do anything.
They see it as, ain't no child gonna tell me what to do.
He said, I'm going to stay on your A like white on rice. I went home and told my mom, I said, Mom, I don't like this nigga. I don't like him.
If you're in the music, you gonna give the song what it needs. If you in your head, you just gonna play what you know how to play.
Ask questions if you don't know.
If you don't know. What is feel?
What is feel? I did like this. I started feeling myself while I played a little bit. The best thing that happened to us is the things that we don't see happening to us.
Interesting.
A lot of people don't know this, but I struggle with hearing loss. Everybody has a flaw.
Yeah.
It makes you who you are. But why would God give me the gift of music, but the opposition of hearing?
What up, y'all? I'm Rajay, and welcome to another episode of the RXS podcast. Today we got family in the building. Jayvin, Finch, how you doing, man?
I'm feeling good, bro. I'm doing great.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you, dog.
It's good to see you too, man. I'm finally here.
Yes. Y'all, I asked Jayvin to do this pod a long time. How long has it been since I asked you?
Time go by so fast, man. Probably what? I don't know.
It might have been. You said 2.
2 years or 3 years?
Yeah, but no, it's probably, I forgot. I think we started doing this in October of 22. And I think I asked you a couple of months after we started.
Yeah.
Because I asked all the homies, like, automatic, like.
And I kept thinking like, oh man, I need to get some more stuff under my belt before I do anything. But you know, that's not the case though.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about that though.
Yeah, we here.
Yeah.
We here, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let's do it, man. Take me back all the way to the beginning.
All the way to the beginning. So first of all, I'm from Wilson, North Carolina. Well, this is where we from. So
Yeah,
I'm home. We
2-5.
home right now. 252. We do like this, whatever. But so I came up in a family of music.
Yeah.
My dad played many instruments, and for the longest time, I always thought like, okay, my mom was just a genius and the creative brain behind everything. But later on in the story, I'm gonna bring that back up. But my dad was the person I looked up to.
Yeah.
I remember it used to be times when I first found my passion for music when my dad got me this keyboard, whatever from the store, whatever kind of keyboard.
Yeah.
The ones that light up and Yankee Doodle, and I'm following the light, whatever.
I just bought my son one of them too. That's what's funny.
So those kind of keyboards is what started me off. But
yeah,
I remember my mom said, I don't remember this part, but my mom said like, "Oh, Ronnie, he gonna be good at that keyboard." And you know, as a musician, as a seasoned musician, you like, that don't sound like nothing. My dad probably was like, he ain't doing nothing just yet.
Yeah, he just pressing the button.
He just pressing buttons right now. But long after that, I kept playing with it, but it wasn't until my brother, when we got around 4th and 5th grade, my brother picked up saxophone, top voice.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a magical thing for me because I watched him learn that instrument in a year.
Yeah.
In a year. And I mean, by the end of the year, it was just like unbelievable. I'm like, I want to do that. So that kick-started, I tell him all the time, that kick-started all of us. Wow. So
he was the first one of y'all to really like pick up an instrument for real?
To really pick up an instrument. And I mean, like, it was just unbelievable. I mean, he just had to give. It was just like that calling.
Yeah.
But mind you, he was getting in a lot of trouble before then. So that's the very same thing that once he picked up that instrument, trouble slowed down. You know, all that stuff. He start finding like, I'm going to put all this energy into this instrument. And I would watch him, my brother, literally 8 hours every day. And that's the motto I went by later on in life. But, so yeah, watching him, I got into band at Sally B. Howard. And I said, I want to play soprano saxophone now. My band teacher looked at me like, soprano saxophone? Like in band, you got to start on alto or something. You know, you can't just go straight Kenny G on them yet. That's all I was listening to at the time. But anyway, it's gonna all make sense though.
Yeah.
But saxophone, I got in band, picked up saxophone.
So did you pick up the soprano right away?
No.
So what ended up happening?
They gave me an alto sax.
Okay.
They said, this is what you're going to start with. This is what you got to start with in band.
Yeah.
But that was all right because my brother could show me. And he had,
So he was already past what they were doing at school.
Man, he was making people cry after that first year. And I was like, dang, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So mind you, piano is like on the side burner right now. And so I pick up saxophone and of course I learned that quickly because he already played it. But somewhere later on in the line, as I grew quickly in saxophone just like he did. But we would always go places and play. Mind you, I would tickle on the piano every now and then. But everywhere we would go and play, because he's already seasoned. It was his calling.
Yeah.
I would sit there and I'm looking at, he playing saxophone and people, ooh, falling out. Ooh, Lord, hallelujah. Jesus, that boy can play. He anointed. And then I play, and then it's just like, good job, baby. Good job. Tom voice, you so anointed. And I was like,
oh,
man. He getting these super accolades though. I'm just getting a good job. That was good. That was good, Sweet Pea. All this stuff. And I'm like,
Sweet Pea.
Yeah, so mind you, I've always been that type of person that well, if this isn't getting me this type of energy, let me find some other way or some other thing,
Yeah.
So then that's when I think, I'm going back to piano. He getting all the love on saxophone. I'm gonna go back to piano.
Yeah.
And this journey about piano, mind you, I was always tickling with the keys or whatever.
And were you ever playing in church or anything, or you were never a church musician?
So
in them days,
this is how this started. We was all in church because my dad had us in church.
Yeah,
he was a musician, right?
Okay.
And but before I knew how to play an instrument, my brother was playing saxophone, and the rest of us, we had to do something in church.
Yeah,
you got to do something. You just can't go sit there and play on your Game Boy or whatever. And so I had to do something. We all used to sing in the choir.
Okay.
Which was a problem for us.
Okay.
Because we were some cut up kids. I mean, we found anything to laugh at. But we sung in the choir, and I was just like, man, this is lame to me. In a sense. At that time, being a kid, I was like, this is lame. I don't want to do this. I don't want to sit here. Oh, Lord, we pray.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do something different, but I remember junior choir. We had junior, this is traditional church.
Yes.
Junior choir, male chorus Sunday.
Yes.
The gospel choir Sunday, and then you got fifth Sunday with
combined. Was everybody together?
Whoever come to church, whatever. Even if the guy who ain't been to church 6 weeks, you come on up here and sing something, son. But it was that type of thing.
Yeah.
And, but I remember youth choir Sunday, they didn't have no musician. My dad was a musician for the most part, and some of the other guys or whatever that played. But youth choir Sunday, we used to do anniversary every year. And I remember this was the first time while I'm tinkling on keys the whole time. I might have been 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But this was the first time where I said I'm gonna take initiative and try to learn or try to do something on the piano this year.
Yeah.
And so this is the start of my piano, career.
Yeah.
Experience. Junior choir Sunday come up, anniversary Sunday. They've been doing it the past couple of years, no music. So
wait, they've been having an anniversary singing songs a cappella.
No music. Mm-hmm. And I don't even think you had track. You couldn't just plug up your phone in.
Right.
You had to go to LimeWire, download it. I don't know how you got the vocals off though, but whatever. You had to download that joint or whatever and burn it to a CD and go in there and pray it don't skip. Put some toothpaste up there a little bit and, get right. But anyway, so anniversary got here and I remember, but let's talk about the night before. The night before, And this is the beginning of me creating this discipline and this pattern for working hard and figuring it out or whatever.
Yeah.
So this is the beginning of this process. We didn't have we 90, I'm a 90 baby, whatever.
Yeah.
So computers and things were just really getting hit. You
Yeah.
had the big computer that looked like TV.
Yeah.
But we had just bought an 8P computer,
Uh-huh.
and the house is like long shape. So
Uh-huh.
one end I got the piano over here, my dad's upright piano.
Uh-huh.
On the other end we got the piano, the computer.
Uh-huh.
And I remember one song was "Lord, You Are Good."
Okay.
Lord, you are good and your
Yes,
mercy
that
is
one of the biggest
throwback.
praise team
Yes, sir.
anthems still today.
Yes, sir. Still is. But I remember, and this is gonna be the beginning of a lot of things that
Mm-hmm.
you'll recognize about me later on. But in this process, this is the night before anniversary, Sunday. This is Saturday night. I'm like, I'm gonna learn this song.
So the junior choir was singing that song.
They were singing that song the next day. I didn't bother to learn the other song, but I'm gonna learn this song. Saying this is the last song they're gonna do. So I literally went to the piano. I used my ear to find, okay, what's the main note that I'm hearing. I don't know theory. I don't know nothing yet. I'm just like, what's the main note that I'm hearing? You didn't have YouTube tutorials.
Yeah.
It was just the song.
Yeah.
So I went back. I went to YouTube
From one side of the house to the
from one
other.
side to the other. I did it. I started practicing this song maybe 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, all the way up to, this is 12-year-old me, 11-year-old me, wanting to learn this song for a choir anniversary. So I did this all the way up to 3 o'clock in the morning. So I go to the room again. I hear boom, boom. Okay, I go back. I'm finding all these notes to each chord one by one. I hear this and that. This sounds right. This sounds right. Let me go back. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, boom, boom. And I'm going back and forth all night until I actually got the whole song. And that song is only like technically 2 parts.
Yeah.
Maybe. But so fast forward, Sunday get here, talking about dealing with fear. And we got choir anniversary, dry the whole service. I don't mean no harm. Sorry, Faith Temple. But dry the whole service. Then we get to the last part of the song. Lord, you are good. I was playing, now mind you, I'm playing saxophone though. I kind of got out of the choir and played saxophone. Me and my brother and Antonio Williams, trombone. So it's 3 of us. So I'm up here with the horn section. No, imagine a horn section, drum, nothing else, and a choir. Some rhythm section, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm trying to, like, what in the world were y'all playing on the other songs?
Boy,
What were y'all doing?
Freestyling. God knows. I might have to call my dad and ask for a VCR or something on it. But so here's what happened. We got to the last song, and I looked at Tonio. I remember turning to the side, and I was like, "Yo, I know this song. But one main thing that I'm thinking about the whole time is I stayed up to 3 o'clock in the morning learning this. So I'd be dog if I want to play it, but I'm so nervous right now. Boy, I was boiling. I'm like getting hot. I'm turning 98 degrees.
Yeah.
And but I looked at, thank God for these friends, because you got some people who would not just gonna let you sit back and just sink in your fear, and some people just gonna say, know what, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Hey, he know it, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what Antonio did, and Ty and them were looking at me, the president of the choir. You know how junior choir, you gotta have some of the older adults.
Yeah.
Well, baby, do you know the song? Wow. They making a whole commotion at this point, like, well, he know the song. Mind you, mentally, before the service started, I turned the keyboard on and made sure it was right, so I don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
And the lady was like, "Well, go up there and play it." She pointed at me, and I remember that was probably one of the most like very heavy moments of me.
Yeah,
Like
I can feel it right now. It's a
Yeah.
very emotional thing because I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so I'm like, dang, well, what I did last night, is it gonna sound right today?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I went up there
Yeah.
and I remember like yesterday, every day I think of this moment. Every time I pick up an instrument, it's the same feeling. You're nervous,
Yeah.
but it's just like it all goes away once I play that first note. I played that first note and I see everybody just like, this is like my debut on piano or whatever. And everybody just like, mind you, my dad been playing, so they know my dad for it. And it was just like a shift.
Yeah.
And from that day forward, that's when I started playing for the junior choir. Mind you, before all of that, when I was tickling on keys, the gospel choir, they didn't want me to play.
And it was it because you were young?
Because us being young as kids, and I remember one meeting, I guess. My dad was in a meeting and they were saying like, yeah, them kids don't need to be on the instruments and all this stuff, and talk about hurt, or experience in that field. My dad tell me this. He was like, man, I remember after that meeting you came up to me and it touched him because he was like, looking at your child, look at you in your eyes and say, Dad, they don't want me to play. You know what I'm saying? And it bothered him as a father. But anyway, do the junior choir stuff. And from that day forward, and shout out to my granddad.
Yeah.
My late granddad, but he really stood stood behind us and pushed us to the platform, really provided us that platform as well as my dad, but to play in church.
Yeah.
And really have our back. But after that, man, played for the junior choir and then talk about circling back the gospel choir. Well, we need y'all to play for us too, and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So it ended up being a full circle moment. Now I'm playing, but that's how my career in piano started. But
so in this time, you start playing for the junior choir.
Mm-hmm.
So is Ty playing the sax during this time?
And Ty playing sax. Yep. And it was really. It eventually became a bunch of younger one, and mind you, I'm still at Sally B. Howard.
Okay.
Shout out to Sally B. Howard because that's the school that, under the direction of Paul Atlas, that's the school that really shaped me when it came to theory, when it came to discipline, when it came to practice. That was one time me and my brother was practicing up to 3:00 in the morning. Again, the neighbor come over and say, I love when they play, but not just at 3 a.m. So
y'all were loud because it's a
loud.
piano and a sax. What kind of piano was it?
Upright.
Oh yeah, so it's loud. Like
we was going at it all night long, like just playing all night long. But being at Sally B. Howard, we had the gospel choir.
Okay.
And Atlas, man, we let me speak on the band there at that time. Everybody in the band when we were there could vibrato. We could play expressively.
Yeah.
We were all hungry. When we hear certain chord changes on new music Atlas would pass out, we would be like, "Woo!" Everybody in the room is like, when you get that kind of reaction from people who are kind of fresh ears to music, it's just like, okay, they know what they hear.
Yeah.
And so mind you, I'm trying to bring back this kind of information from my mentor. All this information about gospel choir parts and all this stuff, trying to bring this back to the church. Us being young, and sometimes it's hard for a lot of things to be accepted when you're young because that's not. I guess it's a respect thing.
Yes.
And it's a experience thing. Whatever. Yes.
And older people, of course, we had experience with this. It's like accepting direction in that context is hard for them to do.
Yeah.
Because they can't respect your gift beyond seeing you as a child.
Yeah, man.
So even though you would just be directing the choir, they see it as ain't no child gonna tell me what to do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you be like, well,
Keep
so
sounding
be it.
bad.
Keep sounding bad, and you kind of back your hands off, and you just
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm not going. But yeah. So going back, and I said I would circle back to this moment.
Yeah.
Knowing my dad as that was the number one mentor for me musically.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking of my mother as the creative genius, the one who gonna tell you about your business,
Yeah.
how to handle it, how to talk, how to speak, how to allow
Yeah.
people to work with you or whatever, or the work and whatever.
Yeah.
So my mom, she was like the one who stood on business.
Yeah.
But I also found out later on that a lot of the musicality also came from her side.
Interesting.
You know, I'm not gonna like, man, you can't sing, man, you can't sing nothing. But when I found out, I would hear stories about my granddad Tom Woodard,
Oh.
and he was the man back in the days with the venue, the club, or whatever, and I would bring in a lot of artists that we knew back then, like James Brown.
Yeah.
He brought all those kind of people in at a club.
So like he was kind of like a promoter type?
He was like a business
Uh-huh.
promoter, put stuff together, but there was people in my family that were talented musicians on his side too.
Yeah.
And that's when we go into like my cousin Gary Woodard,
Mm-hmm.
and who we lost a couple weeks back. Rest in peace. He was the man, and I was looking forward to him telling me more stories about my granddad.
Yeah.
But I do know that this was one part later on in life when I started learning about bass and stuff. I was like, man, Victor Wooten, that's a bad man. Boy, I was always looking at Victor Wooten.
Uh-huh.
And for my mom to tell me one day randomly, she just decided to say one day randomly, you know that's your cousin, right? I'm like, stop playing, Mom, stop playing. Huh? You said what? And yeah, man, I just so happened to meet Victor Wooten like a couple years back, maybe 2019 or 20,
Uh-huh.
at New Orleans Gen Conference.
Uh-huh.
And I saw him, and I was on the phone with my mom, ironically. I'm like, Mom, I see Victor Wooten. Now, what I need to tell him about family, because I don't know nothing about the family tree right now. So what I need to tell him, who I need to tell him, ask him if he knows. And I saw him, and I said, hey, man, I got my mom on the phone. But she was saying that we're related, and I'm curious to know.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, do you know my granddad, Tom Woodard? And I forget if he said his granddad or his uncle, but he said, yeah, my uncle, granddad, who I can't remember verbatim, but he was like, yeah, we cousins, man. All the Woodards, the Wootons and all them. And I was like, so that was fascinating for me to know. So that's the other side of me making up. Okay, Mom, I'm sorry, you do get it's some talent on your side.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that part of my mom's side. So they both played a huge role. That's me growing up into music.
So when Ty is playing sax, you're playing keys, but you kind of want to be like your brother.
Yeah.
So you start playing sax.
Yeah.
But you're not getting the reaction he getting. So
that's why I went back to keys.
So give me the timeline. So was playing for the youth choir before or after that?
So that's all after. So the timeline is my brother. He was at Forest Hills. I was at Benson Bynum.
Okay.
My brother was playing saxophone for about a year. We moved to Sally B. Howard.
Okay.
He signed up for band. Blew the band teacher mind like, oh, he can play. He's nice.
Yeah.
I just signed up.
Yeah.
And then I picked up. I said, I'm gonna be like Ty. I'm gonna play saxophone. Mind you, keys wasn't really a thing. I was tickling around with it, but it wasn't a thing then. And as I grew on saxophone, Ty even grew more.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh man, he getting all the love.
Yeah.
I'm going back to piano.
And
but
so
I
did
still
the
play
Lord.
sax.
So did the Lord You Are Good thing come once you went back?
That came once I went back.
Interesting.
And that's when piano started being that primary instrument, as sax. So I'm still working on both of them. So that balance between both of them, I'm growing. So what I did was I was playing saxophone and band.
Mm-hmm.
So that was what I was using to develop the theory, to develop the understanding of notes on the staff
So
or whatever.
were you getting better on keys because of what you were learning
Absolutely.
at school with sax?
There's some people, there's two different people in this world. There's one person who takes the information and, okay, I give, or take a request and do it and give it back.
Yeah.
There's another person takes the request and say, all right, how can I apply this, or how can I use this information in another life? And that's what I was doing. I was like, okay, how would this relate? Well, you start asking. That's the type of person my mother was.
Yeah.
She couldn't just go to the doctor's office and they say, yeah, you got this and that. Yeah, we're gonna put you on this and that.
She's like,
No. So what is the reason? What's this? What's that? She started asking questions. So that was me taking information from band and saying, okay, so how can I apply this to what I'm doing on piano or whatever? So that's kind of how. And then I took piano lessons later, which I didn't take as serious, but it was kind of like I was using the same. I just kind of got familiar with the bass clef. That was it.
Okay.
But a treble clef as a saxophone player. But I everything I did on saxophone, I made sure that I can follow up with it on piano and put some understanding to it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and then once you got back serious with piano, how long was it before you got in lessons?
Once I got back, I think right that next year after doing the anniversary, that's when I started doing piano lessons.
And whose idea was it to put you in lessons?
Forgive me, Mom and Dad, because I don't know.
It was one of them, though.
It was one of them.
Yeah.
It was one of them.
And why didn't you take it serious?
Before then, or
when you went to do the lessons?
Okay.
Did you take it serious or no?
I took it serious, but in a sense, it was more so of like I was getting the same teaching at school.
So it was redundant.
It was kind of redundant in a way, but I will say, what I learned from that, the best thing I could take away from that experience was the discipline. Okay, you're playing saxophone, but now you have to balance piano and do these lessons and make sure you sweet for lesson next week. Because one thing, and this was an old school piano teacher, I think her name was Ann.
Did she like slap your hands?
Boy, she had a ruler. Oh my God. And me and my brothers and sisters, we couldn't take anything serious.
Yeah.
When she picked that ruler up, and we would all be in the same room, that was the worst idea. So when she picked that ruler up, and was like, did you practice? Play it again. The way my brother and them fell out in the back, oh my God. And I was like, what? This is the crossover from the old school to the new school. So, you got to rule it. It don't hurt, though, but it's funny, But, yeah, that just instilled discipline for me.
Yeah.
And it also brought more awareness to other theoretical, music.
And how old were you at this time?
I had to be 13, 14.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that was that next year after. So, yeah, I'm just pretty much going in the wind, going in the motion, learning these things as I go.
Yeah.
And but most of my time on piano was spent like hearing stuff, just playing it by ear. And then let me go back. I gotta point out one of these moments.
Okay.
Because I'm here with my boy.
Yeah.
One of these moments, man, discipline is so important.
Yeah.
But you had Jamal Lewis.
Yeah.
Jamaria. I remember Greg.
Yeah.
Demetrius McCrae.
Yeah.
Who was playing? I don't know who was playing drum at that time. Probably Tank.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah.
And it's just like you had a kind of click set up. Like the older crew, not even that much older. It's just, I like to say next generation, but it won't next generation. But it was the generation that a musician that was hot that came up before us.
Yeah.
But it was y'all, right?
Uh-huh.
And y'all used to do the Judah Jam.
Yeah.
I remember my brother did it 1 year before I did.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about how he met this bass player, Mario, and all y'all.
Yeah.
And like, man, these guys killing. So this to us was like a flame. It was like igniting for us because
because you found out like it's some other kids out here doing it.
Yeah, man. But it's just like, man, this is the level that I want to do this at. So that's what it was for. If I be honest, seeing everything on YouTube at the time and all this stuff, but it was nothing close to what y'all were doing in the community. It was like, this is the level of stuff I want to do.
Yeah.
So I remember my brother, Judah Jam is like a
it was popular.
What is Judah Jam?
It was like a youth jam that happened late at night.
Yes.
And there was like different music, different artists. They had like the LED lights and stuff before it was popular.
Yes.
And I think it was a part of it was either a part of the block party.
Block party.
Yeah. So we would like have the block party during the day and I think the Judah Jam at night.
Man.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
You talking about cat killing at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock.
We was vibing.
And so I remember my brother came back home and was like, yo, these guys killing, man. And I think that's when y'all had first met my brother.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going next time. I went with my brother, and that was the first time I witnessed Jamaria, boy. I'm
like, insane.
And then I heard you and Greg.
Because it's like, at the time, we're teenagers. So it's like.
Man, and we're just little bitty 12, 13.
Yeah.
Man, but I never forget, though, that was so enlightening for me to see that going on at that level. Because Wilson is a small town, and a lot of times something can be taken as mediocre.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, people, they'll clap for whatever just the hype is or whatever. And but that right there was authentic. So I was like, yo, I gotta hang around these guys.
Yeah.
And sooner than later, we was all hanging.
Yeah.
And I what was it, Abundant Life we played at? And man, what a time. But I remember that conversation, musical conversation with Jamaria. This is the first time we got close.
Yeah, because y'all were doing something. Were y'all doing like, was it Saturday Night Live or Sunday Night Live?
We were doing that Sunday Night Live.
Yeah.
But before that, I think before that started happening, we came close with Mario because of simple playing talk music during the announcement. Mario.
Yes.
And then my brother goes. And
where were y'all at?
Abundant Life.
Okay, yeah, you said that. Okay.
So I follow it, and it's just like we just having fun playing stuff back. It was like, yo, y'all got it cold, man. Y'all, all right, yeah. And that's when we became the Finch brothers, the horn players, whatever.
Yeah. Mario did coin y'all like the Finch brothers.
Yeah, man. But that, and I'm gonna go back to that when we go back to it. But on discipline. But yeah, man, that's like that whole childhood era for me. I think that's where a lot of the developing came from. The discipline was, and also humiliation. Like a lot of people aren't there. They want the ending, the product, the end goal, but they don't want to get in that assembly line and go through the pressing, the pressure, the humiliation.
Yes.
And I've ran into people like that today in time.
Yeah.
Where, hey, man, show me. And I was the same person. Like, man, I was reaching out to so many people. Show me this, show me that, show me this. But then it was like, I can't just get it handed to me. I had to realize that for myself. And I would have animosity towards people. That
so you used to feel away when people wouldn't show you stuff?
What? Man, show me how you do that. Man, it just, look on YouTube.
He tried to hear that.
I want you to sit down with me and show me what you did. But a lot of times, man, I think the very biggest thing I've learned through growing as a musician or growing as a person, growing as any human being, growing, just becoming a better character, is a lot of that comes through observation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like a child. You don't learn how to talk until you've been around it enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that type of thing with me becoming or understanding the language didn't happen just because I was, oh, sit down with me, show me this, show me that, show me this. It was more so like, I'm going to watch, I'm going to go, I'm going to get myself out there and watch.
At the end of the day, like, even if cats were to sit down and show you a chord, it is not until you experience being a musician that you even know how to use it. Yep. You just, like, if I show you, like, 2 chords right now, you may know those chords and you may can play those chords,
but can't apply it.
Yes, you don't know where them chords go. You don't know what to do with them until you be in service after service. Then you're like, oh, that's that chord.
And you got some people that just, oh, word, this used to be me. I would learn something, but I'm using it every chance I get.
Yeah.
Every praise, and it ain't got nothing to do with that song. I'm putting that lick in there and don't make no sense. You can take a lick from Hezekiah Walker's song. I would take a lick from that song and play it in a song like Adele. Hello. What do you need a 2-5-1 passing chord for? Hello? Hello? But, I mean, yeah, man, I can, man, but I also want to speak on that experience of discipline where, and humiliation.
Yeah.
Humiliation, like, being able to withstand feedback without just feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
And
do you remember the first time you got feedback?
Man.
From like a fellow musician?
Man, that was y'all boys, man. Y'all boys ate me up.
Listen.
Hey, they ate us up, boy.
But listen, that's because we got ate up.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. That's what discipline and all that stuff breeds success.
It does.
So, and that's what, but when you're so hungry for something, you don't care how you feel. You know what I'm saying? You really don't. I'm just hungry to be a better musician. Yeah. I don't care what it's gonna make me feel like just to get what I need, where I need to get to. As long as I get there, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing I learned from y'all boys. We would sit in rehearsals, y'all. Me and my brother would play whatever we want to play. We will play whatever we want to play. We'll play a horn line together, but out of nowhere you hear. Ma would do like this, and I remember Mario to all y'all boys. Jamario would be like, "Hey man, y'all when you play here, when you step out the pocket, you gotta know." You got to play something that you feel. You got to play what you feel.
And it's got to be meaningful.
And it got to be meaningful. It got to be intentional.
Yeah, it just can't be like, you know how to play that, so you're going to play that.
Mm-hmm. And boy, was I asking question then. I looked at my brother. I can tell you. I said, what do you mean by feel? What do you mean by
really?
Feel? Yeah. What?
You didn't. So you heard the word "feel" and didn't know what it meant.
I did like this. I started feeling myself while I played a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm like, okay.
What is feel?
What is feel? And I remember,
interesting.
I asked Jamario later on that night, what y'all mean by feel? Man, it's something that you just have to just listen to music and understand why people play what they play.
Yeah.
What is feel? And later on, I learned. Here's the thing: you can't use any information if you don't download no information.
Yeah.
If I don't put anything up here, I don't know what to.
Yeah.
At the moment when music is the thing, I feel like music is a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
So when you understand genres and you understand different types of music, you understand that feel is not a thing you think of.
Yeah.
That feel is something that is going to come naturally.
Absolutely.
That feel is not a feeling. Is not, you just don't. Somebody just don't tell you something or fuss you out, and you choose what you want to feel like.
Yeah,
your feeling is a reaction.
It's a reaction to the statement or the situation.
Something, yeah.
And music is the same way. Like, and that's how you know this is good. This is
Mhm.
good. Most people that don't have feel are not in the moment.
Mhm.
They're operating from a place of capability, but they have not immersed
Mhm.
themselves in the
In the
situation. Like
situation.
put yourself in the like if you're in the music, you gonna give the song what it needs.
Mhm.
If you in your head, you just gonna play what you know how to play.
Yeah. Or if you just really if you just learn, if I spent all week learning Art Tatum, different chops and licks, that doesn't, if that's all I'm listening to, that information is not going to match. That's like me trying to answer a social studies test with some reading science questions or
Yes,
science stuff. I can't.
answers.
That
Yeah,
science answer, it doesn't match. You have to,
absolutely,
everything has to match, and
absolutely.
a lot of people will get information, and I haven't been. I was guilty of it at a we're all at a immature level sometimes musically.
Absolutely.
Well, then when
Yeah.
we're growing,
Yeah.
but you begin to understand as you embellish and understand more genres, you
Yeah.
become more capable of understanding. Well, what's it? It's just like I said earlier. It's not even a thing of thinking. It's a reaction to a statement, like you
Yeah.
said. It's a reaction. So it's just like when I hear something on the end of this fourth phrase, R&B wise or
Yeah.
whatever, I feel this to turn it back around to the
Yeah.
bridge, because this is what normally happens in a R&B song or whatever. And you start, after a while, you start developing that feel because of your information,
Yes.
because of the information you are. It
Yes.
takes research, and I used to hear Jamario used to always say you can tell the IQ of a musician once you sit down and play just a couple. You can
Yes.
tell what they study, you can tell what they listen, and it
That's
should be where when you sit down with another musician, it should be an automatic communication.
yeah.
Because if I don't know the language, then I can't go to France and say, "Hey, how y'all doing? Where's the bathroom?" They're gonna
Yeah.
look at you like, "Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What do you what are you
Yeah.
at?"
Yeah.
But it's just understanding the information and understanding enough information
Yeah.
to go into that field and execute.
Yeah. Did Jamario ever like recommend any artists or musicians for you to listen to?
Man, let me tell you one thing about Jamari. I think back then,
That CD
he
book,
had that
dog.
CD book. Mario had a CD book that was like the Bible of music.
Good God
It was the
Almighty.
Bible of music.
Everything.
But I'm gonna tell you, man. And this is my first mentor musically, like I said, was my dad.
Yeah.
And Jamario became the second mentor of me musically because of him opening my mind up to music. When I asked that
Yeah.
question that night, what do y'all mean by feel? What do y'all
Yes.
mean by this? And what's the problem? What am I doing wrong? I would
Mm.
ask those questions. Ask questions if you don't
If
know.
you don't know,
If you don't know.
don't just be in your feelings
Mm-hmm.
about it. Like,
Oh man,
yeah, yeah, like just feeling away, like, or getting
Mm-hmm.
an attitude, like,
Ask questions.
yeah,
It's
if you
okay.
don't know, just like, what is like, and when you're starting out, that's not a dumb question.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in the beginning of learning how to play, and you're just getting around band members, and they say, "Hey, man, play it with feel," and you like, I don't know what feel is. Don't be upset. Just be like, what is that?
But some people, man, we live in a society today where everything is based on pride too, though. Some people pride is so big, and also some people, God bless their heart, they've been sculptured by the comments and the feedback growing up. So everything, if a lion hears from birth that, oh yeah, you a turtle, you know how to swim and this and that. If another lion come to him and tell him later on when that lion is a full grown lion, or I should have said cub then. But
Yeah,
anyway, when it's a full grown lion, and I tell you, if I'm a lion telling you as a lion, hey, you're a king of the jungle. You do this. You can get your own food. You don't have to go out there and swim in water and try to catch a fish or something. You go hunt. Go do something.
yeah,
But that lion not gonna believe that because that's not what it was brought up on as feedback.
Yeah.
If somebody is constantly telling me, and that analogy means if somebody is constantly telling me, oh yeah, man, you killing, you doing this and that, you doing this and that,
and then you run up on a real one.
and you run up on a real one. By the time that person tell you, yeah, man, go home and study your music, blah blah,
You're like, I don't need to study.
Man, forget you, man. I'm gonna make it. Why? I'm gonna make it without you telling me. And a lot, I witnessed that a lot in our society, and I say that to say I'm not the one who sits or act like I sit on a throne and think, oh, I know this and I know that, but I know the chapter that I passed for me.
Yeah.
Because of listening and being humble,
Yeah.
and just taking in feedback, asking questions.
Yes.
It's okay to humble yourself every now and then and accept, even if somebody do tell you something that could be not in alignment with what you, or not even the truth or whatever. It's something you can take from that person.
Yeah.
I always believe that.
Yeah.
It's something. It might not. You might even. There's some people who are 10 times better than the people who could be a mentor to them.
Yeah.
But that guy got something.
Absolutely.
Or that person got something. And that's called wisdom.
Yeah.
Wisdom is something that somebody had already experienced and gone through. And that allowed you to take their experience and their information and bypass that.
So what made you decide to accept Jamario's feedback?
Like I said, wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is, like I said, the experience that he's going through and the knowledge that he's obtained.
Yeah.
It showed me that he's speaking nothing but the truth. All y'all, man.
Yeah.
Like, all y'all. You saying nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
Like knowing placement, knowing feel, knowing the song, coming to rehearsal, and knowing the music. That way, all that's left to do is creative.
Yeah.
Tighten it up. Make it different.
Yes.
So that's what, when you see somebody who's obtained everything that they telling you, you be a fool not to believe it.
Yeah, that's real.
You be a fool. Like,
that's real.
I'm looking at this guy who got everything and is in the position that I want to be in, and he telling me the thing that I need to do.
Yeah.
If I can't take that wisdom, you're gonna be stuck.
Yeah, for sure.
Stuck,
and when he first started mentoring you, you were still just playing keys and sax.
Keys and sax.
And where were you in high school?
At this time, I was high school. High school, yep.
What grade? You remember what grade?
This was 9th grade. SNL was happening about 9th grade, 10th grade stuff. Yep.
That's crazy.
And we were sitting at Blue Hyundai.
Yes,
telling all your business, Mario.
Yes, Lord.
But we were sitting at Hyundai. You talking about after rehearsal ended probably 9:30.
Yeah.
It's going on 3, 4 o'clock. That was the only time my mom and dad allowed me to be outside.
When you were with him?
Mm-hmm. Only time they allowed me to be out the house past.
Wow. Man. Because they knew he was pouring into you. They knew you were in good company.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
And we would sit in the car for hours, and he would play hours of music. Yes. I mean, and it never got boring to me. I just sat there and soaked it all up. But the thing, like going back to building your information, understanding genre, I didn't know the whole time. And a lot of things, the best thing that happened to us is the things that we don't see happening to us. You know what I'm saying? The thing that I didn't know that was happening to me is my brain was downloading this information. Yes. I'm hearing these different things, but that stuff don't pop up until you put it to exercise. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there on the piano and I hear, oh man, and so now your practice becomes a thing of not literal listening, but literally you singing, your brain feeding you. All right, try this.
Yes,
try this. Your practice becomes that.
Yes,
no,
and that's good. Okay, let's talk about that, because as a musician, like, we are what we consume.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same way, that you experienced it, I experienced it. So whether it's Coldplay or Foreplay or Toto,
Yes,
or
sir.
like he was listening to so much stuff. So then when we would go to rehearsal, when it's time to create, we creating from that bag because that's all we listening to. And it's important to know, like, sometimes, like you said, as a musician, listening to music is not always to learn it. It's to absorb it, and it'll once you absorb it for a long time, it becomes a part of your playing subconsciously.
Yeah, subconsciously. Yeah,
like you won't even know. Like you'll just be getting better and doing certain stuff instinctively, and it comes from what you're taking in.
Yeah, you create this concoction of different genres.
Yes,
and you become what people know legends are today.
Yeah.
Somebody who crossed the boundaries, who stepped over the boundaries and said, okay, well, if you think about every legend, everybody who are stapled in this music, they somehow exceeded that boundary that people wasn't used to.
Yes.
You got people from James Brown who took just folk music, blues, and created funk.
Yeah.
You got funk turned into this other style of pop and all this stuff. And then R&B and all so forth. All these people stretch the boundary.
Absolutely.
Because of, and this is the thing that's important in today's society. I tell my students this all the time. You can't move forward without studying. And in this case, without studying the past.
Yes.
You can't move forward, and just like life, you can't move forward without going through those past things. Because that's what's going to push you forward.
Yes, absolutely.
Know what I'm saying? So studying the past and understanding the foundation is the guiding way to creating something new.
Absolutely.
Roger is the way you say it.
Your band and your wife.
Yeah.
That's been your life.
Yeah.
You're losing them both.
At the same time.
You're actually working very hard.
Bro, if I'm cornered, I'll say, girl, stop before you get me pregnant.
So that's 250 plus tips.
Bro,
and you had to shut that down?
Bro.
I'm here now. Choose ye this day.
You said presentation is everything. And for new people, you only get one time. What you doing is great, man. I love what you're doing, bro. That ain't what I want to do, though.
You did 2 things at one time that you should never do.
Is this it for me? And they was writing checks to the man. We was like, hey, look, we ain't getting all this money. Hold up.
For free.
For free.
If you enjoyed this clip and would like to enjoy more, search the RXS Podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts, or watch the RXS Podcast on RXS Entertainment YouTube channel.
Take me to when you went to college.
College. Man, college. Yes, sir. Taking all this stuff. So I've been still doing saxophone.
Yeah.
Piano was the thing where it's all by ear now.
Yeah.
And if I can, maybe I should tell this now.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. So I'll embellish into it. But I'm playing by ear. And piano and saxophone. By this time, saxophone, middle school, I went to honors band. I made it into honors band, all district honors band. At the third saxophonist out of like 700, maybe something like tenor saxophone. And I remember Central played my 8th grade year. Let's talk about also how certain people who are different characters of what you're normal to.
Yeah.
Does not always mean run. You know what I'm saying? And I say that because Mr. Atlas was like the most chill, lenient, laid back. He left my 7th grade year to pursue his vision in ministry.
Yeah.
And 8th grade, we got this guy, Roger Walker. He was a jazz head. Mind you, some people come in your life, and this is from my mother, because I wanted to quit band that year, because the first thing he told me on the first day of school, because I was the quote-unquote best one in band,
Yeah.
he said, I'm going to stay on your A like white on rice. Wow. I went home and told my mom, I said, Mom, I don't like this nigga. I don't like him. And she said, you won't quit though. You're not leaving band because you need that. You're going to need him for something. And sooner than later, he brought in North Carolina Central Band. We was working on jazz stuff. We would do jazz stuff all year. He the one introduced me to jazz music.
Yeah.
And North Carolina Central came that year and bought their jazz band. When I tell you, man, it was like, and by that time I had my soprano sax.
Okay,
Yes,
so you think you doing it?
I'm thinking I'm doing it, and but I played this solo at the time that was somewhat immaculate to the director, Ira Wiggins, for me to be an 8th grader. I remember, what was those songs I played? Mercy, Mercy. And I remember after the whole concert, Central blew my mind.
Yeah.
To hear those, that was the first time I heard those kind of voicing.
Yeah.
Where you got a lot of dissonances.
Yes, Lord.
Notes and stuff, and then a lot of resolving and
yeah,
inversions
boy.
and stuff. And just information of, and that was kind of tritone stuff and information of going out of the scale and into another degree or whatever.
Yeah.
That stuff was blowing my mind when I watched them guys. And mind you, I wouldn't have understood what was going on if I wasn't sitting in the car all those hours listening to the records Mario was playing.
Yeah.
So I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And Dr. Wiggins came to me in the office. Me and what did I say his name was? Roger Walker.
Okay.
That was my director at that time,
Yeah.
8th grade, and he was like, "Hey man, I want to take him with me back to Central now." He was like, "Can I take him?" And Roger Walker laughed, and he was like, "Yeah, man, he got to finish high school and stuff." Man. I said, "Take me."
Yeah.
Let me pass on high school. But so anyway, Central was in my head.
The entire so from that point all the way to 12th grade, Central is in your head.
From that point, man, Central is in my head. I went to James B. Hunt High School.
Yeah.
And we're talking about leaving a situation from middle school to high school where some people who just get to 9th grade decide they want to play an instrument.
Yeah. So you're going from fully structured band teaching
to nothing.
Practices to nothing.
To nothing. And yes, I did get kicked out of band every day. Almost every day. Because I was bored.
Yeah. So you were older, you were in another level of school, but you went backwards musically.
And
in that band.
This is where discipline comes in. That's a quote I put up in our band room last year.
Mm-hmm.
When motivation dies, your discipline shall resurrect it. And I got that from a guy, Alvaro, and it may come from somewhere else. But when the motivation is not there, I learned that when the motivation is not there for me to even practice no more, I'm not getting what I need. I'm becoming lackadaisical.
Yeah.
Then the discipline, the process that I've been doing all my last 4 years, it kicks in. That's that nitrogen for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that begins to push me when I have no motivation.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I did in high school. High school was, if I don't get it here, then I'm going to get it for myself. And I'm going to push myself. So that's when I continue to study on my own.
Yes, sir.
I continue to, my brother was studying Michael Brecker at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only person I knew that could play Michael Brecker stuff verbatim.
Yeah.
Like he would me and my brother was hooked on Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, boy.
Learning all that stuff. So me and him continue our passion through high school. And of course, you go through hardships. You coming through a structured situation like from a structured situation like Sally B. Howard into the public high school, I began to get exposed to like just doing, other stuff, hanging with guys and that won't no good for me, hanging in the hood and stuff, and being introduced to other stuff that's just like, man. But the thing is, when you discipline, man, when you have that discipline, man, and the mindset is the most important thing. To have the mindset, if you want it, if you want it that bad, your mindset somewhere is still gonna be focused on that.
Yeah, you're gonna find your way back to it.
You're gonna find your way back to it. And I remember a lot of the homies from the hood would be like, "Hey man, you got too much going on." They would tell me that.
You ain't got no business being out here.
You ain't got no business being out here. But appreciate you though. You know what I'm saying? You got the wheel, roll us on around town. Whatever. So going to high school.
Jayvin, you were riding around with dudes. Now that I think about it.
Boy, in the hood, man.
Like, did you ever bring them to places when you had to play?
Man, the only time was when I bought my tennis sack to high school to that band program. I mean, man, it just, that's when, trouble gonna always try to find you.
Yeah.
But, being introduced to all this other stuff and then having to fight because I'm a light-skinned boy.
Yeah.
Whatever, all this stuff. And
so were you going through stuff like that? Like,
oh yeah. When I got to school, man, my brother kind of had already set the tone, though.
Really?
Yeah, man. Mind you, when he was at Forest Hills, he was like, he couldn't stay in school 2 weeks without getting suspended fighting somebody. Sally B saved him musically, going from that structured environment. But here's the thing, though. When you come for those people who do deal with those problems, like a lot of my, not even a lot, but there's some students I've came across in my teaching experience, my teaching field that was just like, when you get introduced to discipline, wisdom, knowledge, understanding all those things, just like, that's like, I feel like God's divine way of introducing you to this. Hey, here's your chance to flip everything around. You get into when you come from an unstructured situation to a structured situation, that's something that you need to grab hold on. Let go of your pride for just one second. I guarantee you, when you let go of that and see where it pulled you from, you'll be willing to continue that road.
Absolutely.
Even though it may seem tougher and harder, it's on the end of that. You don't know what's on the end of this road. In this road, you just living in the moment, so you know what's there right then, but you don't know what's at the end of that road. This road requires you to do these things. You don't know what you have to encounter, but you know what's at the end of that road.
Yeah.
Success. I don't know what kind of hardship, what kind of people I'm gonna come across that may strike me down and say, "Hey man, you need to learn this. You need to learn this." But I do know that at the end of that, I'm gonna be successful.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the road I took in high school. It was like I let go of a lot of other stuff. Toward the last 2 years, I said, I need to focus back up because I want to go to Central. I need to pick the GPA back up.
Okay.
And that's what drove me there. So, mind you, I get to Central, I pull my GPA up.
Okay.
I get to Central and audition. I get all the information about audition. You had to do. I'm on saxophone. I auditioned as the saxophone major.
Okay.
How in the world, God rest his soul, how in the world did they know I played piano? Don't know. But I remember when I did that audition, I killed the audition for saxophone. Blues wasn't nothing. Church teach you blues. Minor stuff, whatever. Whatever, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I know that ain't sound like nothing. But then I finished the audition and my God, golly, I can't remember his name. Just right now, it's just in the moment. I apologize, Central, but I'll remember it later.
Yeah,
because this guy did a lot for me. He helped me out through college. But I remember he called me back in and was like, wait, man, y'all need to hear him on piano too. How do you know I play piano? Don't know. Maybe my mom. That was probably my mom doing it, because she'll talk me up. So come back in there and they played a blues track, B flat blues. Did I know what I was playing when I read that chord chart? No. But I knew what I heard.
That's when that learning how to play by ear this entire
That's when
time.
that kicked in. That's when that kicked in. And wow. I couldn't play a lick off that chord chart. But mind you, being in honor band and doing that stuff in middle school, I had to know all 12 keys on saxophone.
Yeah.
Going back to what I said, I took that information, taught myself on piano. What is this? What is that?
Yeah.
So if I play a C major on tenor sax, then I'm going to be playing in B flat major. So let me figure this out. What does B flat major look like? All right, going back to the piano lesson, understanding the fingering.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was able to play through the scales and stuff they gave me, chromatic scales or whatever. And Central for me was probably one of the most rigorous times of my life as a musician, because now I'm not hearing, oh man, you killing or you this. Now I'm not hearing, oh, like every time I get up from a piano or I'm not hearing these things that I used to hear. It becomes, you need to go work on this, go work on that. Okay, you think you did good. You can be killing it. You don't understand the language. Well, what you mean? Okay, so let's go back. And I going back to this, what we talked about earlier, just not being prideful, but going back and willing to ask questions or whatever. And my first day in Big Band 2.
Oh, snap.
My first day under the instruction of Brian Horton.
Okay.
God rest his soul. Awesome director, man.
Yeah.
Great, phenomenal saxophone player.
Yeah.
Anything he could think of, he could play. But so this was my first day, and I would play Central. That they'll push you.
Mm-hmm.
They'll push the limits with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only because I played piano too, they say, all right, you're gonna be a primary in both of these. It's normally primary and secondary. This is gonna be both.
Primary in both.
And both. So not only did I have to take primary saxophone applied lesson, I had to do primary piano applied lesson, classical piano, classical saxophone, all these things, right? And not only that, this is another thing. Talk about being humble. Put yourself in another situation sometime. And then let's see if you're humble then. Let's see if you get the same. Let's see if you're playing with people who are below you. Now, I go to Central, coming from Wilson, other than y'all guys killing like that. My generation of guys, it's just like, we know, this is it. Boom, boom. I go to Central, these guys trying to learn how to be like Oscar Peterson, how to play like.
So you
Bud
go from
Powell.
the top to the bottom, basically.
Man,
You the top in Wilson, the bottom at Central.
Instantly. And I remember, matter of fact, Jada can confirm this, because me and Jada, that was my sister in high school.
Yeah.
And I mean, I told Jada, that's my sister. I told Jada when I went to Central, we were both going to Central, and I told her, I said, Jada, my goal is to make my name known around this area. I told her that. Not that that's the primary goal, but that's how hard I wanted to go.
So, yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
And I told Jada that, and I said, they're going to know my name somewhere. I'm going to get some work in this area. And I went there and I went there and became the bottom, the rock bottom.
Did you lose your mojo?
Yeah. Because when you around them guys, I'm like, man, I ain't motivated to play anything right now. I'm trying to, and then you start to try to. This is another problem musically. A lot of musicians have is when I would see them go there and workshop the other piano players, I'm gonna shout them out. But I would see them, and it's just like sometimes we see a picture or an image or somebody else playing, and we try to go up there and emulate that same thing. When that ain't, we don't have that information. If I don't have that information, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I have, or whatever. Shout out to these guys like the first saxophone player I just ran into him, was like, Dad, I don't want to play saxophone no more. Alan Thompson.
Okay.
Out of Durham. And man, I mean, to see another brother like me, but playing these changes.
Yeah.
Mind you, my brother was doing this stuff too. I wanted him to go to Central with me. I'm like, man, you know how you go to a fight and you need somebody else that can fight for you?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I need him to fight for me.
Yeah.
But I don't have it, but
yeah. Okay. Let's stop. That's another monumental shift in your life because you're used to Ty always being there.
Yeah. This time I ain't got nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. I can't tag Ty and say, man, get him solo. So, man, play him out for me real quick.
Yeah.
No, I can't do it. I got to learn this information. So, yeah, man, Alan Thompson, and then piano players, man, a Queen of Keys, that's what she calls herself now. Leandra, piano player.
Yeah.
Phenomenal, man. I mean, amazing. First time I seen a female kicking my butt on keyboard. Chucky Robinson.
Yeah.
Chucky Robinson was like the idol for me at that time. I was like, man, he's like the. At that time, I'm thinking like, man, he's like the Oscar Peterson here. You know what I'm saying? He got all these licks, these chops and whatever, and he got the soul like I want.
Yeah.
You know? But and then you also have Andrew Berenson, who was just, man, had all the language.
Yeah.
Chopped clean. And so I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, I got to get to work. And the professors, mind you, like I said, so coming from the bottom, or coming from being here and then being the bottom, that taught me, okay, I gotta build, I gotta start over.
Yeah.
And I always revert back to these moments when I'm teaching my students. Life, not just musically, but life. It's like you in a boxing match. And you're gonna be fighting those first couple minutes. You're gonna be doing all right. You're going to get to the last 10 seconds and I used to box too. So my coach would say it's fury mode when you're in those last 10 seconds. You're tired, you're exhausted, you don't know what else to do. Your back is against the rope. 10 seconds, just push 10 seconds. And boom, the part though about life is you got another round to go. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, we got another round. You got to do this all over again.
Yeah.
Then you get to that round, it's like 10 seconds. So life for me was just being a child, boom, boom, I accomplished this, boom, boom, accomplished that, accomplished this. Then you get to this, we on round 11 now. And the only thing about life is it's not no 12 rounds. It's unlimited. It keeps going, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all these professors in college, going back to this, they push you to the limits. And I remember Brian Horton told me, my first day in big band too, he said, I mean, he threw me on piano one time because we didn't have a piano player. That's the beauty of learning multi-instrument.
Yeah.
Because you're able to be moved around or whatever. And it makes you more versatile and it makes you more available.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I played piano. This my first rehearsal in big band too on piano, and he gave me the charts. I didn't know what those charts were saying. What did the triangle mean? I never seen a triangle in music.
Yeah.
Well, later on, found out it's major, minor, all these things diminished, whatever. So, but anyway, this is what I learned after that. But in that current moment, I'm given a chord chart, and it's kind of something around all blues or something like that. They start the song, whatever, and I'm like, I'm lost. There's a point in time where you try to do something else, you get mentally retarded on music. I got mentally retarded. I was like,
Yeah.
just fumbling all over the place.
Yeah.
Brian stopped the band and said, Mr. Horton, let me say that. He stopped the band and was like, took the music off the piano. He was like, you playing church, right? You playing church. I know you do. He was like, listen to the bass. Listen to the bass and play where it's going. Man, he did that. I was a whole different piano player. I felt normal again. And so he was like, so he told me my first valuable lesson at Central studying piano, the sheet music is just a guideline, but you incorporate your own feel into it.
Yeah.
Incorporate you into it as well as studying how people play this material.
Yeah.
One thing I never did was play a show and play a song and not listen to the original version and live version of how somebody else played it.
Yeah.
Because that gives you, if they play with that artist, you get the experience of, again, wisdom is not just tangible within the physical being of a person.
Yeah.
You can get it from YouTube. You can get it from a book.
Yeah, man.
You can download that wisdom.
Yeah.
You get that. People write their wisdom down in books and documentaries all the time. Learn what they went through so you don't have to. So you can maneuver that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have to go through getting fired on their first rehearsal gig or a major show. You don't have to go through that. Because if you study up, you're prevented from that, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times I would study who'd ever played this tune or whatever. And that's one thing about me. I hate to be embarrassed. I spend a lot of time being embarrassed in rehearsal. Not for the show, though. I didn't want to be embarrassed for the show.
Yeah.
And I would never put myself in a situation knowing that I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go take a guitar gig right now.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that.
Yeah.
But that's what he taught me was it's a guideline. Study this stuff so you can know how to approach it.
Yeah.
And I remember another professor told me, he made me, who was this? Might have been Thomas Taylor. Shout out to him. He told me my first year, get rid of all that R&B, hip, whatever, and download these 1,000 standard. Wow. 1,000 jazz standard and learn them this year. I learned close to them all, not all of them, but I learned close to them all. And that for me, this whole thing is right now just about discipline.
Yeah.
It's just discipline.
Yeah. And it's
repetition.
It's preparing you for what's next.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that's interesting about what you said is the fact that I know you personally.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of I'm finna go to Central, they gonna know my name in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, you went to school for saxophone. They made you have saxophone and piano, right?
Mm-hmm.
Primary in both.
Primary.
In your mind, you about to be known in this area. Fast forward, you are known in the area, and it's not for piano or saxophone. But it came to pass in a whole different way than you ever expected.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's a testament to life. Like, everybody in the RDU area know Jayvin Finch, but it's not for saxophone or piano.
And some people, man, when I did a keyboard gig, they like, you play keyboard?
You like, man, I did all that central work.
Man, what? All that central work. And whatever, man. But yeah, man. All that, man, and came out playing bass.
So that's crazy. So, like, by the time it was time for you to graduate from Central, how did you feel when it came to saxophone and piano?
Honestly, man, saxophone was still a thing for me, but it was on the back burner now. Piano became, midway through college, piano became the primary.
And what made you decide to make piano the primary?
Allen kept kicking my butt on sax.
So it's another thing like Ty. It's like, yo, man, I got to get in the lane where I can shine because these boys is playing.
That's all I've been doing. And like, Dad, just been trying to find my shine.
Yeah.
Just put the spotlight on me just for a second. I just only need 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, man. And then another thing, I think where I kind of drew back from saxophone too, in all honesty, is going to different places and, you know, if you a saxophonist, you ain't got a mic, you are not heard.
Yeah.
You up there blowing your chops out and you ain't heard.
And
the
unfortunate thing about sax is if you are not on the gig as an artist or in a horn section, saxophones aren't at every gig.
Oh no.
Like people don't just need a saxophone player unless it's a big production with a brass section or you're the primary artist.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I play piano, I can play in a bar, I can play at church.
Exactly.
I can play
Like, and that's why I was like, cause you know, being a college student, you eating ramen noodles and red hots out the gas station, man. You trying to? I'm like, man, I need to get some gigs. I need to get some money going.
Yeah.
I'm not getting enough calls on saxophone, and if I am getting called, it's probably $50.
Yeah.
I need the piano guy. I need the musical director gig. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let me learn it. Let me get right on this piano and shift, so I can shift the atmosphere and my coin. But that's another thing too. I always wanted to. I felt like too, seeing people where they can be in control of the destination where the music can go.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, keyboard is the thing. I'm a master that. Try to master it.
Yeah.
And
so did you start getting any gigs on keyboard in Raleigh-Durham at the time of being in college?
Oh yeah. I was playing keyboards. I was playing keyboard a lot of gigs, mainly gospel stuff.
Yeah.
And then I got to say for younger musicians and whomever, if you're practice, not only just practice though, but practice application.
Yes.
And I say all this speaking to myself.
Yeah.
And still reiterating to myself that, hey, this new information, because you don't just take new knowledge and new information and just try it on the day of or whatever. You practice, apply it, see how it works first. You know, I'm not going to build a chair and then just tell you, all right, here you go, here's your chair. You can.
Yeah.
I don't know if the screws will hold up though, but you know,
yeah,
try it.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm gonna put some weight on it. I'm gonna test it out. You know, it's durable, and that's that process of application. No, take the stuff. Don't just practice it. Practice application after you have practiced.
Absolutely, because like at the end of the day, when you want music to be a career, you're only as good as your ability to apply. So it doesn't matter how much you know. It matters how good you are at applying what you know.
That's gonna come with the placement, all that stuff, and everything that makes somebody say, "How do you think of that?"
And you want to know what's crazy? That's how musicians that are not as skilled get work over the musicians who are extremely skilled.
Man, I know I wasn't as skilled as some of those other musicians. I mean, these guys killing, man, like everybody. Man, it's so many musicians. It's so many musicians in that area that was killing at that time and still killing. And I'm like, damn, man, I got to figure something out. But my thing has always been, like, going back to what I said, if it's not me, it's not me.
Yeah.
And that, I think what also got me to do a lot more work is because I studied the application and field. And also because sometimes certain things can be a hindrance and it could be a gain.
Yeah.
Knowing too much information, just like I can't. That was the point in Central where I was learning so much jazz and listening to so much stuff and obtaining so much information that every chance I got to use it, it was you. How great, what? You know, it's how great. You only need to, you know what I'm saying? But at piano, understanding everything does not fit everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I saw a clip the other day on your podcast. Where Uncle Tyrone,
Yeah.
he said certain things don't require every chop. Certain songs don't require. It just requires the feel. The addition to that song.
Yes.
You never want to play on anybody's show or record and not be an addition.
Yes.
You know, you want to add.
Yes.
The goal is to add to that vision, not to take away.
Yes.
Not to get in the way.
In the way.
You know what I'm saying? And that was the point in time at Central where I started becoming in a way I was gaining, but I was taking a step back because I'm using this information in the wrong way.
And did anybody ever tell you that?
I told myself that.
How did you figure it out? How did you learn that?
Going back, listening to videos, and then also I'm always assessing myself.
Okay.
I'm always assessing like, okay, why is so and so working on this and why am I not? You know, or why is so and so doing it? But then also having confidence when you assess yourself and you listen to yourself every now and then and just, hey, I would say it's sloppy. I'm doing too much, or it doesn't make sense, or that doesn't. There's a lot of videos I can go back to and be like, even now I'm still like that. I don't like to hear myself play.
Yeah.
But I would assess myself and make sense and evaluate and say, okay, this now how, and then after I get to that point, I'm like, now how can I work in this specific, you know?
Yes.
How can I get that?
And that's important because at the end of the day, even when you go into Central doing jazz piano, there comes a time with anybody in life, you're going to go through a season where you gain a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's going to come a point where there's a fork in the road
Mm-hmm.
and you have to make a decision. And that decision is, where do I want to go?
Mm-hmm.
So
what I want to do.
What do I want to do? And specifically as a musician, once you decide what direction you want to go in, you have to automatically understand how that information can help you or hurt you.
Yeah. Got to know how to pivot.
Yeah, it's like, so as much jazz stuff as I know, let's use jazz since that's the good example. As much jazz stuff as I know, if my aspiration is to be a musical director for Jill Scott, I'm going to need to know some of those chords, but I can't Art Tatum this neo soul groove. I can't. This is a loop where I play the same 4 chords over and over with splashes and fills here and there.
Yeah.
And you have to know how to take that information and use it to benefit the situation versus overdoing the situation.
Yeah. And it helped. I think all that information is only pulled out that bag when it comes to the creative process.
The creative side, yes.
Okay, all right. What can we do creatively? That makes sense within this genre. Every complex, there's a lot of different definitions of complex when it comes to music. You got complex pop, you got complex R&B, complex soul, complex funk, whatever.
Yeah.
all these things are different levels of complexity. Like,
Yeah.
but you have to understand the genre to know how you,
Yes.
how do we want to transition from this neo soul to this more modern.
Yeah.
Like I said, this discipline thing had been
Yes.
going on for a long time.
Absolutely.
And
So you couldn't run. There was never a time where you could run away from the discipline.
couldn't, man.
Even when you try, like, I love the fact that even when you tried to, like, okay, I just learned all this stuff, let me play. You had been so trained to be so disciplined that you had to critique your own self and say, like, I'm out of pocket.
Yeah. You develop this sense of evaluation. Like,
Yeah.
all right, evaluate yourself. See what you're doing every now and then.
Yeah.
See where you're at now versus
Where
where
you
you were.
And then check out some cats that are where you're trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because at the end of the day, when you have aspirations, 9 times out of 10, somebody has already done what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So just listen, check them out.
Man, I gotta bring up Jamario's name again.
Yeah.
He's one person I've always inspired to be like musically.
Yeah.
Simply because he plays a gig. He plays probably one of the biggest gigs of our time right now, where it doesn't require half of all of what he know.
That
And that's the best thing is to be that surprised. Like, be that.
It's like, and that's the thing, like, he knows so much. And it's like when you like when I used to watch him sometimes when they first started going heavy on the TV shows, like I would listen to him play the record note for note for note, and he only pull out one little thing,
and
I'm like,
and we be like, man, these people just don't
they
know.
have no idea.
They have no idea.
And it's at the end of the day, when you want to do this as a career and a profession, it's a respect thing. It is very selfish to play jazz on a pop gig just because you know how to play it.
Look, God, look what I learned.
Yes, that is very selfish of you. That is very not appropriate.
And that also has fueled where I am today as a musician, man.
Yeah.
Because it's just okay. I get to this point where now I'm still, like I said, I'm not to say like I'm the best and this and that or whatever. I'm just saying, just for my own self evaluation, I evaluate myself and say, okay, I've obtained this and I've attained this, but I want to be able to just play music.
Yeah.
I want to just be able to play for the artist.
Yes.
You know,
so let me ask you this. At this point in your life, you are seeing yourself on stages playing for artists.
Mm-hmm.
You started to get to a place where it's like, I want to play for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And was it keys at first?
So that was when at that time I was heavily on bass. And
so what
bass.
started that?
Once again, it was that feeling of, damn, now piano ain't good enough. Damn, now you want to play bass? Bass, okay, all right. Well, let's try bass.
So you got the feeling with piano that you got with sax.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm doing okay, but
it wasn't enough for me. It wasn't enough for me, so I'm like, and at this time, like, Mario was on making his band and all this stuff. Like, he making all these big moves. I'm like, man, I want to play bass. I remember one time I asked Mario, this goes back to that thing. Don't have a negative response or whatever.
Yeah.
Just react. Not react, but respond.
Yeah.
Because react, you just react, and it's just no emotion, no, it's just whatever is there.
Yes.
But I responded. Responding requires you to think about your answer and process it.
Yes.
I asked Mario giving out these bass. I said, Mario, man, let me get a bass one. what am I give you a bass for? You don't play bass, you know.
That's Jamario.
And I said, I was like, yeah, you right. And Mario had went on that tour, 24K, and I picked up bass 2016.
While he was gone?
Yeah. And that would be times, man. I don't talk to him for like 2 years because he's busy and stuff like that. Man, I was like, I'm about to pick up this bass. I'm going to learn this thing. He said, I can't play bass. I'm going to learn this thing, man.
So now you got a little bit of a chip on your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to show him that I'm serious.
Yeah.
Because if you know Jamario, he's the type of person who will assess your behavior and call it like he see it.
Call it. He going to call it like he see it. Don't ask him, hey, how did I do tonight, man? What you think? Yeah, man.
Yeah. So he like, in typical fashion, you ain't no bass player. You don't play bass.
Yeah, man. Why would I give you a bass, man? You don't play bass.
And that kind of made you be like, all right, I'm going to show
I
you.
said, man, I'm going to learn this bass. But he did go with me. Like I said, it would be all the time. Going back to high school time, there was plenty of nights where Mario would come to the crib. My parents, like I said, knowing who he was to us, the boundaries was kind of loose.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all gotta be up for school in the morning. Do it at your own risk. We here 3:00 in the morning. You know, you used to come to the crib all the time too. We be jamming at 3:00 in the morning. But I showed him my dad bass, which wasn't working at the time. That red PJ bass, 89 Japanese PJ bass Fender. And he was like, man, you got something here. So he took me to Aaron. Shout out to Aaron, man. Dope guitar tech. Good guy. But he set my bass up, man, and Mario blessed it there at the shop one time playing on it. I was like, yeah,
so it wasn't working. Y'all took it to Aaron. Aaron put some new parts in and all that.
Yeah, and that bass was the beginning journey.
I remember that.
That bass was the beginning journey, man.
How often did you practice?
Man, so we're talking about my last year of college now, was when I started playing 2016.
Yeah.
And bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you. It goes back to the discipline and watching how my brother practiced and knowing how it happened for a piano and sax. And this was on my own. I took that bass. Every time I came home from class about 5:00, I would practice for 8 hours. And it was every single day. Every single day. That's probably why some of my grades wasn't as good as
I was just about to ask you, like, so what's happening with your grades and with like piano and stuff? So you started slipping at that point.
And honestly, I was it wasn't that I even did bad in school. It was just I would sacrifice some study time just to, I want to learn this. I want to learn this song, whatever. And I think my thing was I would always make it good enough for academically. But music and stuff, stellar, like it all A's and B's, because I remember one theory class, Dr. Hume, we had ear training. And ear training is a course where you have to hear harmonical structures and be able to, when you hear, be able to name if it's diminished, minor, major, what inversions and all this stuff, name the note, sing do, re, mi, or whatever, sight reading. And I remember this is what I mean by I wouldn't, I'll kind of be just fine with getting over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we would have an ear training test, and it'd be like a melody written, whatever, and you have to sight sing it, and you have to use your solfege syllable. And I would go, one thing about me, I knew how to sing the melodies as I saw the note, but I didn't do the solfege. I was like, the solfege messing me up. I don't feel like studying that. So I told, every time I would go to him and do the test, I was like, da 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 da, and sing it just like that. He was like, Jayvin, you got to do the solfege, but you sing it so perfect. I'll just give you a 95. I got to take some points off. But he would take 5 points off.
Just cause
And you don't do that. You don't spoil me with just taking 5, because I'm gonna do it every time. I'm gonna get 95 every time. What? So I was like, well, I'm going in there singing da 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 every time, and that's what I did. But yeah, man, 8 hours a day on bass. I was doing 8 hours every single day because I wanted to grow, and then I found myself playing with Nito, which gave me that outlet to really.
And how long was it between picking up the bass and playing with Nito?
It was that same year. It was 2016.
So is that so? So let's for context. Your knowledge of music up until this point made it easier to learn bass?
I say yeah, because when I was learning piano anyway, even going back to when I was 12 years old learning Lord You Are Good, I listened to the bass notes first, and I built upon that. So my knowledge of learning piano stuff always was founded upon the root.
Yeah.
And the root is what's going to be the foundation of any chord.
Yeah.
It's just all about inversions after that.
Yeah.
And so, which was another catapult to me on bass, because a lot of times when I first started playing bass, I didn't play as a bass player. And I also gave myself the excuse of messing up, because I would tell people when I get through, I'm a piano player originally. So that was my excuse for trying different stuff on the spot and saying, oh, I'm going to try this and I'm going to do this. And playing with confidence, because I didn't care that I wasn't a bass player. I'm learning. So that's what made me play with confidence. But more so, I played as a keyboard player. So I would, wherever the chords I'm moving, that's where I'm going to move the roots or whatever. And that's how bass started for me.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started learning, all right, you got to learn bass line. I got to go back to the 70s. I got to go back to soul. I want to get the groove now.
Yeah.
And so bass was probably the instrument I spent a lot of detail and time on.
Okay.
I spent a lot of detail and time on. Those 8 hours just sitting there, I tell my students to this day, so what if it's boring to play to a metronome for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours doing the same thing? I guarantee you, when you pick up speed, or you have to do that same thing, it's gonna be lightweight.
Absolutely.
So it's my whole experience has just been all about discipline. But I said I was gonna bring this up earlier, and this is probably, out of everything I talked about, this is probably the most underlying thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do a lot with my mental being, because as a musician, or being in this music industry, or not music industry, but in this musical career,
Mm-hmm.
or anything, whatever your mind is solely focused on, you go into a low-key mental depression
Mm-hmm.
if you have doubts about this being the very thing that you will live doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And what a lot of people don't know is, going back to that word humiliation, or struggles and trials, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
tribulation,
Mm-hmm.
and having to deal with what I call your flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a flaw, but your flaw it makes you who you are.
Yeah.
And me being born, a lot of people don't know this, but I struggle with hearing loss. Hearing loss was I had surgery on my ear, probably maybe, I don't know, my mom can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 8 years old. My eardrum blew. They had to do something, whatever. And being a child in elementary school, having to wear a headphone while the teacher had the microphone on. It's just it felt humiliating to me because I'm like, it felt like, dang, I'm disabled to do this, or I'm not able to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing my dad every Sunday play the keyboard, and I want to one day do this stuff. But also realizing that, man, I should be deaf. You know what I'm saying, and all these things, and then the speech impediment things and stuff like that. Not being able to hear will cause you to speak different or whatever. So that was so taking all this, dealing with all this inside emotion for me while trying to balance something that leans heavily on the ear, that leans heavily on projection and all this stuff. Is this has been it's been a battle for me as a childhood life, and not even wanting to indulge in certain situations such as workshops and stuff in Central, because what if I don't really hear them correctly? What if I don't really understand what they're saying? What if somebody tell me to do this? And Dr. Wiggins was a person where Big Band 1, and this is probably one of my main reasons why I never really pushed myself in Big Band 1, is because Dr. Wiggins' voice never exceeded as loud as a whisper, which caused everybody in the room to have to listen. You ain't had no room to talk and be, oh, so you gonna miss what he's saying. I was sitting in at rehearsal one time and I'm looking, and I don't see nothing. I just see him, bam, bam, the band start playing. Like, what? I didn't even hear him count off. So those,
that can weigh on you.
that a lot
Did
of
it
that,
weigh on you?
oh yeah, like, man, not it took a toll on me all my life, even up to this point, man. Not being able to hear and going to the doctor, and I remember the last time maybe 2 times ago when I went to the hearing doctor, they said my hearing was 50% below the average human hearing, which is certain frequencies I can't hear, like up in the higher register. And I remember being in the car with my dad, and he was like, man, I don't think it does something to me as a father that you gotta hear the type of stuff. But nevertheless, I persevere and remain resilient. You know, even though these things I looked at as flaws, you know what the good thing about it was? When I went to college, a lot of the guys like Andrew and those guys and Chucky, and even people up to this day, they tell me now, yo, man, your ability to hear certain chords, certain changes, or certain movements, or even when I was playing with like Marcus and Kenny Lattimore, they would tell me different stuff like, take it somewhere else, go somewhere else with it, and I would just know, I would use my ear when it comes to music, or better yet, I'm gonna say when it comes to music, when I'm under the influence of God, just like I hear perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? But it goes. I'm saying all this to say, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want to achieve, there's nothing physical that can stop you from doing that. You got all types of people in this world today who aren't able to do the things we have with our limbs, or with who aren't able to have the limbs or with accessibility that we have, but are able to accomplish things. I'm seeing people playing guitar with their feet, playing whatever. So I just took, and it wasn't until I'm 30 years old now, and it wasn't until this year, bro. It wasn't until this year when I found out, when I start revamping my mindset, changing how I think, changing what thoughts I let in. You know what I'm saying? Cause I don't have to think that my music career can be cut short one day because I won't be able to hear. And every situation that I've been through in my life had prepared me for every thought that could come against me. You know what I'm saying? The thought of, well, and I'll rest this thought now, but the thought of, because this is the past me, the thought of thinking, well, Jayvin, how you going to, if music is all you do and it's all you know, how did your life resume without hearing? How did your life resume without being able to get in front of people and talk clearly? And how did this work for you? How do you build that confidence when you're not even confident with being able to go in certain situations because you're afraid you might hear the wrong thing, or you're afraid you might not speak as clear? And it's just like, man, well, I'll be dogged if I don't try. I if I don't try, I won't. I really be doing it due diligence. Like, I really wouldn't know. And I think that's what all of my flaws have been. It ended up being the determining factor for why I should keep doing it. And just like I said a while ago, everything in your life prepared you for those thoughts that you may have that'll push you back, that'll cause you to set back and become, just lackadaisical and stuck or prove your rejection to yourself. Things like, had I never gone to Central and studied my primary apply with my piano teacher, Mr. Duarte, who I'm looking at him. Why am I the only one studying Beethoven? You got everybody else reading stuff that's kind of something I can play. I'm doing Beethoven. This guy's out of his mind playing this stuff. But not only, man, here's the thing though. God prepared you he equipped you with everything you need if you ask for it. If I asked for it, I told God when I was young, and I can't leave out the part when I was young when my dad told me, if you want to know, I remember I told him we were in intercessory prayer, and I told him, I was like, I want to be like, I want to become one of the best musicians. I want to be able to play piano. That was my main thing. He told me, go kneel down before the piano and ask him for it. And I did that. And it's like, ever since that day, the practice has got easier, but everything that's happened to, it's just like, it's not easy. And then it becomes not hard, but it's just like a ongoing process of like, yo, this ain't easy, man. And I remember, so back to this point where he gave me Beethoven. Beethoven was the result of hard discipline, because his dad would abuse him and wake him up in the morning just to practice. I couldn't imagine getting beat just to practice.
Yeah.
And then not only that, Beethoven's discipline was, his practice time it's consistent. And then, but the main thing that I grabbed from him in relation his story, Beethoven was deaf. He became deaf to the point where he took the legs off of the piano and put it on the floor so that he can feel the vibration of the music. And I vowed to myself that, and I arrested the thought of, yo, well, what if you lose all your hearing one day and you can't pursue music, or you can't, man, it's almost like somebody just taking your life from you and putting you in a cave and locking you up. That's what I felt like. And that was a lot of what caused me to go into different stages of, and I don't claim it now, but depression and depressive thoughts. And even, just to think about, damn, man, music is what I do. Music is what I want to do. And education, teaching children, this is what I live for. This is my life. This is my storyline. But it wouldn't, would it work if I didn't have that? You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking of that. And so a lot of times I would always just, well, when I go through hardships, it would be like, why me? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? And why do I have to be the one with this? And why, God, why would you give me the gift of music, but the opposition of hearing? Like, what's the how did this go together? And but it goes back to the thought. I'm a firm believer in Christ, man, and his ways are not our ways, his thoughts are not our thoughts. But if you look at every other person who had an obstacle, or they made that somehow it's like the main thing people, or the main thing people know them for. So I began to look at people like Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, Beethoven. These people, even from locally, Tawanda, people who aren't accessible as some other people, but they still manage to persevere and remain resilient. And so that that right there is what really just shifted my whole way of thinking. This year is the first year I've actually been as mentally free from this stuff as I've ever been. And I also want to shout out to, being at my church, being at the church I play at every Sunday, under the leadership of Bernard Grant. He had a summit. And at that summit, Mike Moore came, and he had a book called, he was selling a book called Help My Mind is Under Attack. But just by that title, I said, man, my mind is, last birthday year for me, when I turned 30, I woke up, and this was the fourth time that happened to me that year, but I woke up boo-hooing in an all-out cry and just thinking about what have I done in my life to this point? Why am I not where I want to be? Why do I have to deal with this? Why can't I just be 100% in my hearing? Why all these different things? You know what I'm saying? But all through the year, I was wondering, why am I having all these emotional breakdowns? My mind wasn't in the right place. My mind, and then even going back to the religious standpoint of, I never really, a lot of us church musicians, we grow up in church,
Yeah.
We only know God because that's how we were programmed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I realized that was, as a kid, yeah, I love God, but you don't understand a lot of those things because you're not going through these hardships as an adult at that time.
Yeah.
As a kid, when the lights off, we just like, oh, the lights off, We're not really, feeling the impact of our mothers and fathers, so being an adult now and looking back in these situations, and it's just like, I realized my mind just wasn't, I've always just loved God because I was programmed to. But then when I started thinking, and in that book somewhere, who wants somebody to love them robotically because they're programmed to? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who wants somebody? I don't want you to love me just because your mom and daddy told you to love me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want you to love me because there's some things you see in me that's authentic to you.
Yeah.
There's some things that you genuinely love.
Yeah.
And I realized, man, that's how God was towards me. God, he don't want me to love him because, okay, now I'm at a time in life now, Now, Jayvin, you dealing with all this. You have this, you have that going on. You have cars. And I want to address, too, the fact that a lot of people look at me and probably think everything is sweet. Oh, man, Jayvin got, he doing good. He teaching the kids. He got money, this and that. Meanwhile, it's a whole mental war going on in my head. I was away from people for a minute. I was eat, and when I was only out just to get away from myself. I was only when I was out, when I was drinking a lot of and stuff, and then also that, it doesn't give you an excuse. Your flaws doesn't give you an excuse. It doesn't give you an excuse at all as to why you can't do something. Or it's man, miracles happen all the time. People are performing. I mean, we wonder like how. It's because of going back to the same thing, discipline, and that's resurrecting that motivation to continue moving on, continue pressing forward, even though it ain't your time now. We don't know who wrote our timeline, but a lot of times we get stuck in the idea of, I'm gonna create the timeline for myself, and a lot of that I brought upon myself. I brought a lot of that stress and mental depression upon myself because I was continuously trying to create a timeline for me, and also while creating a timeline for me, I was only meeting the deadlines of events that weren't mine. What I mean by that is consistently building other programs, building other people's vision, building other people's this and that. Truth be told, everybody's not meant to work a 9 to 5. Everybody, not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but at some point you got to make a deadline for yourself, and you got to put an event in place for yourself and say, okay. Because when you put that event in place, and it doesn't mean you're creating your own timeline. It just means you're meeting goals. And I heard this on my timeline the other day. I think it was from Travis Green, where we focus a lot on trying to make touchdowns. Touchdowns is a lot to make. You got a couple yards to carry, a couple yards to go. But focusing on 10 yards at a time, 10 yards at a time, it doesn't give it that. If you notice, when you're trying to score for a touchdown, your time is limited because you have first down, second down, third down, fourth down. You got to punt. You got to do something. When I'm going for 1 to 10, that time is unlimited. First down every time. First down every time. First down every time. But so I got to the state of now where make the event for yourself. Stop dwelling in my flaws, and stop first of all, stop caring what people may think because they ain't trying it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm on this journey now where it's just like, I'm going to put out this music regardless of how I talk, regardless of how I may hear the frequency. I'm going to put this music out for my own well-being. I'm going to do it for me. Yeah. I'm not going to just don't care what other people say to the point where you deviate yourself from your own goal. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Don't, just do it because that's the only, if you want feedback, that's the only way you'll ever get it.
Absolutely. And a lot of times I've experienced assuming that people are going to have the thoughts about me that I have about myself.
Mm-hmm. We always thinking outside in.
Yes. So I've been through situations where I've been afraid to do something because of what I thought somebody may think.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the thing and they didn't think that at all. Right?
Yeah.
And then I assessed what I thought people would think. And the truth of the matter is, I thought people would regurgitate, reiterate, or repeat to me what I'm saying about myself. I don't feel like I'm good enough. And if I do this and put it out, people gonna think I ain't good enough. No, that's what you think about yourself.
Yeah.
And you're assuming people are gonna repeat that. But the truth of the matter is, you're as good as you need to be at any given time in life. And when you need to be better than what you are now, it'll be when you need to be better than what you are now.
To be.
That's life.
And that comes from the feedback you get.
Yeah.
Man. And that, like you said, man, that's what shifted my whole way of thinking, my mind, because in actuality, we can, whether religious or not, whether you believe in Jesus Christ or not, the principles of your thoughts is the same.
Absolutely.
Whatever I put into the atmosphere is what it's going to be. Whatever I continue. That's why I would, if you believe, I'm big on it. If you believe something hard enough, then it's going to become true. It becomes true because that's the realm you create for your mind. It doesn't have to be a little sense of it's true and you see it.
Yeah.
It's true and I live it in my head. I began to start to interpret people's feedback as something else.
Absolutely.
Not even that.
And another thing we do to that point is when you repeat a certain narrative for so long, you literally start to mold your reality to fit that narrative.
Yeah.
And so if you think you're not good enough, when an opportunity comes, you're going to say no.
You're going to say no or you're going to crash course.
Yes. And it's like, so it becomes true because you mold your reality to fit what you think. So that's why shifting how you think is so important, because everything I decide, everything I pursue, everything I put my hands to is going to only be a reflection of my thoughts.
Yeah. Yep. Your thoughts is it comes from it's the mind, and that's where everything is curated.
Yes.
That's where everything is born.
Yes. Yes. I'm happy for you, man.
Man,
and I never knew that.
Word.
I never knew that.
Yeah, man. And it's something I held in a lot. But I'm like I said, man, my mind is in a different place now, and I'm realizing where even so, in all honesty, and going back to when we at the very beginning when I first got here, I waited so long to do this podcast for the wrong reason. It was simply my thing was off of tangible and, well, I haven't done the things that some of my icon people have done. I haven't done it, or I'm not a Jamaria right now. I'm not a this, and I'm thinking of these different things these different levels. If I want to do a podcast, I want to have some stuff to say that people will gravitate to. But really, that as my mind had changed this year, that's not the case. Yeah. It's the case about my story. It's the case about what's truthful to me and how I can help somebody
Absolutely.
else that's dealing with those mindset issues, the discipline issue. If you're having trouble with discipline, start going through your mind and tell yourself, what are you thinking of? Yes. What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? And that, because a lot of our lack of discipline and motivation can come from what we fill our head with.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to be motivated to I'm not going to be motivated to go audition for a show if I continue to think I don't have nothing to offer.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember when I first, and it might not be the biggest thing to other people or whatever, but it was the biggest thing for me because I started playing bass 2016, and a couple years later, and shout out to Marcus. I'm doing Marcus Anderson stuff, which is not
joke.
easy,
Yeah,
no joke at all.
And I've heard a couple of the homies say he'll give you 30 songs, and he'll give you 30 songs on Wednesday and the gig Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. Marcus came to me one time and was like, "Hey man, Am I giving y'all a lot of songs to learn? For me, I said for me, I'm good because I need this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love it. But in actuality, through him, that's when I got that Kenny Lattimore gig because I showed. So my first gig with Marcus Anderson was, I think, in Virginia or somewhere like that. And my boy, my homie Now, man, shout out to Now.
Yeah.
Like I can go on, but he sent me the link to the show and was like, learn from the hour mark on down. I was like, okay, cool. All right, bet. I'm shedding every day. My 8 hours of practice is had prepared me for this.
Yeah.
So I'm shedding. I'm getting right. I'm also not. Am I just listening to what the homie Twan is playing on bass? But I'm thinking of I'm listening to everybody else play. In case there's ever a moment where we go all the way left or right, I know where to go because of where the song is,
Yes.
or what the guitar is doing, or you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
So fast forward to the show, or fast forward to the same week. I'm like, all right, yo, now when the rehearsal, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no rehearsal, bro. What? Ain't no rehearsal. I'm used to rehearsal. All right, let me go back and listen to the record. All right, I gotta be sweet. I gotta know this song better than everybody at the bass player. And that's one thing I always hint out to other musicians. You come into a situation, your best bet is to know the song better than the MD. The MD himself. Know the song better than him. If you know that, you good. Cause if he say something, he like, I hit a B flat right here though, right? Oh yeah, you right. You good. You sweet.
Jamar
If you correct
used to be that.
if you
He'd be like
correct
that
the
all the
MD, you good.
Jamar used to kill me with that. Yo,
Yeah.
I used to be like, oh yeah, you right.
Yeah.
You right.
Yeah, man, that'll get you in there. But the day of the show, man, and Kenny Lattimore was on that. Was he? Yeah, he was on that gig too. And I showed up, man, and did what I was supposed to do. And Marcus called me every time after that. And I remember when we did the Christmas thing for Kenny. This goes also to what we said with studying and knowing different genres, so you can know the amount of complex, like or the amount of difficulty you can go to with this song. And man, Kenny came in that rehearsal and was like, "Yeah, man, I know y'all know the record, man, but scratch that. Play the song, but play it your way." So therefore, I was able to direct and drive us in a way where it made sense and not just play some crazy bass line and everybody like that. Well, you in the way. I ain't got a part to play. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, like that's like those guys, man. Shout out to them, like Nemo, man. That's my boy, man. Guitar player, man.
Yeah.
He'll probably be up here one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
And now
I need all of them. Yeah.
All them boys. But yeah, man. I mean, it's all that has shaped me, man. But the biggest thing is just my mental state.
Yeah.
The mental state that I'm in now is just like, man, whatever is against you, speak it away, like and keep pushing.
Yeah.
Keep pushing and receive feedback. Be humble. I can't stress how important it is to be humble.
Yeah.
Being humble means your ears are open. You're able to obtain information.
Yeah.
It's like a filter.
Yeah.
For me, it's a filter. I can be humble enough to take in the information, even though you could be speaking a lot of negative stuff.
Yeah.
I can take in what I need to take in out of that. And I can filter it and be able to respond back to you in a way where I don't have to indulge into negativity.
Yes, sir, man.
But it's in a way where, okay, you'll understand later.
Yeah.
You'll understand who I am later or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's
man.
big.
I don't have a arrogant bone in my body or anything.
Roger is the way you say it.
You were a good high school student.
I did the bare men.
Did your teachers like you though? You called your teacher a racist.
I was in the 4th grade.
So what made you choose Central over ECU?
It was further away from Elizabeth City.
You did well in college. You were a good student. Bare men again.
Bare men, yet again.
Dottie, come on, man.
Bare.
So did you like school?
I hated school.
Did you ask yourself like, okay, what next?
I was literally homeless.
Why didn't you tell anybody?
I had to put on this facade like I had to do the same. I have to look the same so I can be in these same crowds. You know what I'm saying?
You're comparing your year 1 to somebody's year 20 and saying you're not good enough.
And that's how people get stuck.
What's missing?
I knew what sound I was going for.
Yeah.
And I can never find it.
Do you think they lying to you because they your friend?
People lie every day.
How were you able to do that?
I just started doing it myself.
Did you ask yourself like, okay, what next?
I definitely stumbled across some tough times.
Why didn't you just go back home to Elizabeth City?
I knew then that's not what I needed to do.
If you enjoyed this clip and would like to enjoy more, search the RXS podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts, or watch the RXS podcast on RXS Entertainment YouTube channel.
So tell me about when and how you started teaching.
So I would volunteer. Mind you, some people as musicians, that's all we know.
Yeah.
So it's just like I never had a regular job until I got to college that year that I was supposed to go to college, and Central had overloaded on housing. How y'all did that, Central? I don't know, but anyway, I still love y'all though.
Yeah.
But so I stayed home for a semester, but Dr. Woodard called me from Sally B. Howard, who was the executive Black woman who owns a phenomenal K through 12 blue ribbon school for the performing arts and education, giving kids a black and brown and all colors, all race opportunity to a brighter future. But she called me in to volunteer. And mind you, my mentor, Mr. Atlas, he would helping out with the band program again. But I came there as a volunteer, to kind of work with the band program. And she said, when you graduate college, one thing Dr. Woodard stands by is her word. She tell you something, she mean it. When you graduate college, you come back and teach band. Wow.
So had you ever thought about being a teacher before that?
Hey, no. No, sir. Never at all, man. But my mom always said, even when I was young, I had this teaching spirit about me.
Mm-hmm.
I could always, teach or whatever. She said that, which I didn't believe until I actually did it. But I graduated college, man, and sure enough, I was there, 23 as a teacher, and I could not get used to the fact that kids saying Mr. Finch. I sound old. I'm 23 years old. Y'all saying Mr. Finch. What in the world?
They can't call you Jayvin.
Yeah, they couldn't call me Jayvin though, man. So, teaching, man. One of the biggest things teaching that taught me, also while staying sharp, it taught me patience.
Yeah.
But also knowing how to revamp and reword things in a way where people can understand all levels. I had to do kindergarten and first grade, second and third, fourth and fifth, and so on, middle school. Yeah. But I'm coming out of college trying to teach kids about music.
So you have just been in college at the highest level, doing the hardest thing in music you can do, to come back and teach first grade.
Quarter notes, whole notes, concert, B flat scale, simple. Whole
So
note
it's
rhythm.
another season in your life where you're back to the bottom.
Back to the bottom. That's gonna be good for y'all. Y'all better drink this information up, bottle it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's another season where I have to go back to the bottom now. Man, now that you say that, I'm thinking of it. I went to the bottom as becoming a musician or just being able to be influenced. Went to the bottom of the mental state of being, the bottom of finances, all this stuff and all these things. And now it's like the bottom of a teaching experience. All these things that's going to build and, build who I am. Or what I've asked God for when I was younger. But so I'm going back having to learn these things. I know music. I don't want to hear from these people telling me how to teach music. But there goes that saying again, be humble enough to understand and listen. And man, those PDP meetings that I said, I know how to teach these kids. I really didn't. Truth be told, a lot of that stuff that I learned, I still use to this day from those professional development meetings because it taught me how to be patient and water down this stuff. And not only that, we had this thing called no opt-out.
Okay.
That was no child opted out.
Okay.
Nobody left behind. If I'm going to go over this thing as much as I need to, while still moving on, but with this every particular child, until you got it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to reassess myself. I'm going to blame myself before I have to blame, this child just can't learn it. I'm going to blame myself for not exhausting every option to make sure they get what they need to get before I move on to the next, level or topic in music. So that was a whole learning process for me. But my goal was, again, speaking those things that I want to happen.
Yeah.
I said band program was, when I came from that band program, we were superior every year.
Yeah.
Superior. Baddest band on the Eastern North Carolina. You talking about a bunch of kids that can play like me and my brother.
Yeah.
So now going back to this program, it became a dump for kids with behavioral problems and then when you go through different ways of expectation, kids don't know what they expect. They don't know what you expect from them. When the expectation is here with one teacher, here with another teacher, here with that, so what to this new guy? And I came in firm, set the expectation, and stayed consistent on that. And my goal, I told myself when I got there, I said, I'm gonna build this program back up like how Atlas had it. Yeah. That's my goal. And that year, built them up, had a phenomenal concert, worked with kids who are just as amazing now. Took them to competition the next year, got a superior rating, excellent rating in the band program, bought it up, and then of course in every, like I said, that boxing match thing, every level, you got that last 10-second fury mode where you exhausted or something. It's just like a turn on the table. Every movie had that turn where and there goes this turn now. Now the turn is I'm doing all this work, receiving all these results, but it's not good enough. Why is it not good enough? Is it because I'm young? Certain things, and now I'm going through this phase of I really could go off on so and so. I could go off because this is a straight up lie, or I'm doing this in the classroom. I'm doing this, but now I'm at this level of this is they just don't respect me. I'm young, and then I meet two of my friends, and I gotta shout them out: Jeremy Herring and Tanisha Roundtree.
Yeah.
Who helped shape me as a professional when it came to education. Helped shape me as a professional. And I called on Atlas every day I started at school. But they shaped me in ways of how you should respond to certain emails that kind of shoot down your work, or how you should respond to certain things in the workspace that may not sit well with you.
Yeah.
And then also knowing how not to take things personal in the workspace. This also helps benefit me in ways of when I'm working with other people on a musical spectrum.
Yeah.
Don't take things personal. when people are in professional roles where they have to guide you and train you and whatever, they're just trying to do what they have to do because there's somebody over them
Yep.
or whatever.
Yep.
So now I have to perform how I have to do these things and make it look like what they want to see. But I learned how to, in that moment, I learned how to, okay, I'm going to do what y'all need. But when I'm here, it's me and my kids, and I'm going to make sure they get what they need. And I'm going to do it my way. But I'm going to give y'all what y'all need.
Y'all results.
I'm going
to do it my way, but
Yeah.
I'm going to get to the results you're looking for.
And I'm still getting the results. And it's just like, but I'm just going to, I'm going to make it look like what y'all want it to look like.
Yeah.
But I'm breeding these results off of how I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? And man, teaching became a very fun experience for me. And mind you, like I said, I had that time where there's another, bump in the road now. And that was the respect as a young teacher. And so as time went on, I got to the point where I was like, you know what, man? I'm done.
Yeah.
I told Harry, I was like, man, I ain't got nothing else to offer. I ain't doing nothing else the rest of this year. I ain't doing nothing. They don't respect me. But quickly, when you got good friends and people who have wisdom, they know when to hear when you go. They know when to see where you're going off, or you on the right path. I was going off. Yo, man, no. What you gonna do is you're gonna continue to sustain the incredible work you're doing. In fact, why not do this? Why not make them make it miss when you do decide to resign or whatever? No, so instead of just saying, man, forget it, I'm gonna just thug it out to the rest of the year. I went so hard.
Yeah.
To the fact that when I drop off,
you're gonna feel it. Yeah.
You're gonna feel it. And that wasn't my intention of making people, because I don't like to make people feel it. But I knew what my path was, and I've been thinking of, well, now I got this. I want to start my own conservatory. I want to start all these things. I want to do all these things for myself. When I'm building all these things from other people, I want to build it for me too. And so that's where I got to in life, and I resigned. But when you do things the right way and you don't burn bridges, that bridge is always open and accessible for you to go right back to. And not that I went back to it, but now 2 years later, Atlas comes back, my mentor. He comes back because we need somebody to save this band program. And Atlas was the guy that he was the man. That's what they know.
Yeah.
And so him coming back was like, okay, we good. We got the guy, the band, you know what I'm saying? Atlas called me a month after the school started and was like, Finch, I don't know what kind of kids these is, but they not like y'all. Hey, look, hear me out. Would you come back and work with me?
Wow.
At the request of me. This is what I told them. And me just, I felt like I owed it to Atlas because he raised me at, theory-wise. So I said, why not, man? I'm coming back. I help you out. I'm only answering to you, though. I'm only answering to you. Anything you need, you. I'm not listening to nobody else.
Yeah.
And that was the case that I was able to come back into an environment I was once at because I didn't leave it burned. I was able to come back in and pick up the pieces as they were. And now, because of that, I won't go into detail, but because of that, sometimes when you when you do things the right way and you continue to do it regardless of how it feels in that moment, you're able to come back and have the upper hand.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes,
absolutely. I know exactly what you're saying.
So that because we built that program up to a point now where, you got to be careful who put their hands on this.
Yeah.
Because if it ain't the original, you know, when people
Yes.
say the original,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not going to be a
And
valuable.
it wouldn't be like that if you had to just did what you felt in the moment at first. If you would have just gave up and let the year just fall by the wayside.
Yeah. And I couldn't do that, man. And thankfully, I had those true friends by me.
Yeah.
So so now I'm still teaching and balancing a life of still trying to pursue what I want to pursue.
Yeah.
You know, and all that to say, all these obstacles. You know, there were so many questions. I could have been like, nah, I'm not going into that because you got to listen. You got to hear these kids every day. I have to open up my ears and hear, you know, whatever. And or I have to speak publicly in front of parents.
Yeah.
But everything all works together for the good. I got it tatted on me. All things work together for good. Romans 8:20.
Yeah, that's my wife's favorite scripture too.
I almost forgot the last number. 8:28.
Yeah, 8:28. Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I mean, everything that's led me to continue doing what I do. And this mindset that I'm in now, man, is just like, do it, arrest the negative thoughts,
Yeah.
lock them up, put them away, arrest them thoughts for life,
Yeah.
put them thoughts on
Death row.
on death row. Yeah, give them thoughts 3 days in a cell. Don't even give it a day in the cell and put it on death row the next day. Man, I can't do this, man. Arrest it. You arrest it. Lock that thought up.
Yeah,
you on
man.
death row tomorrow. But yeah, man, I mean, take the positive thoughts and put them at the forefront.
Yes, sir.
So that's what I did. Man, I took those thoughts like, man, your hearing is a problem. Okay, you'll be a musician who lacks hearing, but can hear perfectly fine when it comes to playing music.
Yeah.
So that was those things, man.
Yes, man.
You'll be the guy that people say, well, he talked like this on interviews or whatever, but he sing like this when he sing his song.
Yeah.
I want to make that. Maybe that can be the
Yes,
turning
sir.
factor. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm doing this stuff now, man. That's why I'm just living life without being cautious of what people gonna think and people gonna say. Just do it. Nike never been more real.
Just do it. That's
Just
a fact
do
with the swoosh.
Swoosh.
Yes.
Put a
So
little swoosh up there.
so tell me about singing.
I think singing comes from, I always sung around the house,
Okay.
but mainly I always sung what I played.
Uh-huh.
I always sung what I played, and then listening to other people sing,
Uh-huh.
coming up around other great singers and stuff, and Dottie with her singing self.
Sheesh.
So many people that can sing, man, and
Yeah.
but I know one thing for me is I said that I don't want to I'm not going to be your singer that's going to give you
Yeah.
all that. I just want to be able to sing the melody so it can purely hit you in the heart.
Yeah.
Like just sing enough of the melody where you can feel it's just my expression. You can
Yes.
just hear me
Expression, yeah.
hear me in another way.
Yeah.
And I think another thing was too, in college we had to learn our solos and sing them sometimes. So
what if people couldn't sing, Jayvin? What they do?
man,
Like, did you ever hear somebody try to sing their solo and they weren't sweet?
honestly, bro,
Or everybody could had a
to
decent
be
voice?
honest, I never came across anybody in college or in the department of music that couldn't sing their solo. Or better yet, if they couldn't sing it, they just didn't understand what they were doing.
Mm.
And I say that because either that or they just weren't fitted for the situation.
Okay.
The music. And I say that because in order to play your stuff, I don't care if musicians, if you say you're not a singer or not, at some degree, you have to know how to sing in order to interpret what you're doing
Yeah.
musically.
Yeah.
As something you might not be as good of a tonal singer as some people.
Yeah, but you got to be able to hold a note.
You can
and
hold
hear
the
a
note and hear the note. There's no way I'm gonna sing Giants or not be able to sing Giant steps and can't play it or and can play it or whatever. I gotta know how to sing the melody so that when I play it, because I told some of my students too, I like to break down the definition of an instrument to them.
Okay.
So I break down the definition of a musical. All right, the definition of an instrument anyway is a tool. It's a tool to be used by some physical force or some kind of force, you know what I'm saying, to operate that tool.
Yeah.
That's what a tool, instrument is. And I turned that definition over musically and said, I told my students that your instrument doesn't do anything if you don't put anything into it.
Yeah.
So you have to know how to, if I'm going to play saxophone, everything going to have to start up here. Everything starts up here. I have to, first of all, know the instrument.
Yeah.
Know the instrument well enough, know the scale, and what I mean by knowing that, know the scale, know the degrees of the instrument, know what notes are what.
Yeah.
And then after that come knowing what notes make this sound, what melody produces this, what different things about the instrument. It all starts up here.
Yeah.
And then knowing how to sing it or whatever I want to. Now we're talking about tone and expression and articulation.
Yes, sir.
If I want to know and some people, and it goes to another point that I talk about musically, some people learn that instrument and they learn the song. Probably any musician can learn how to play Brick House. Any bass player, whatever. But where is the bass player? How is the note sounding when he play here? How did it sound when he played there? And these are some things I learned from Jamario too. But knowing that instrument inside and out, and knowing everything comes up here in a mental state first.
Absolutely.
So it's just like I can't play an instrument without knowing what I'm doing up here first.
Yeah.
Even with piano, when I'm playing a melody, I have to be able to see it and everything. A lot of times, that's why do you think when you get to a certain level, that musician now like myself, and I'm guilty of it, I will learn a song on the way. If I don't have time, mentally, I will learn that song. And Lord forgive me, I'm guilty of it. I'll do it sometime for church. On the way, always know your music. Now, I'm not saying, look, you know how they say, don't do this at home. Only if you are capable of learning a song and showing and mentally and showing up to that rehearsal. But that comes with, you know what I'm saying? That comes with time. But in showing up to that rehearsal and knowing the intro, da, 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 key change, you know it's going up a minor third, whatever, then okay, you can mentally learn that and be just as fine.
Yeah.
But any other time, show up to that rehearsal and know that music already and practice it or whatever.
Yeah, Jayvin.
But yeah, man, everything happens mentally first, and the instrument is just an instrument.
Yeah.
You should be able to play the keyboard without a keyboard in front of you.
Yeah.
You can play and know exactly what chord you hear, what note you're going
that's
to.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the upper hand on musicians who think like that.
Mm-hmm.
Think mentally first before, going to that instrument, knowing how to approach that instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
So, back to what we were saying, I'm thinking about singing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think if I know any musicians that don't know how to sing. Do you know any?
Man.
Don't answer that. But to your point, because it's mental first before it comes through your instrument, everybody has some degree of being able to hum notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like,
whether it's not your range or not, you have some degree.
Yeah.
Some degree of understanding. Even if you're not spot on with the notes, you have some degree to understanding. And that's how singing was more developed for me. And also, when you hang around great singers, or you hang around singing that's always singing all the time, doing
Yeah.
runs and all this stuff. And I ain't gonna lie, when I'm at home by myself,
You be going in.
man, I be going in, boy. You think I'm the male Jasmine Sullivan? What?
So, yeah.
I ain't singing right now for real though, dude.
Yo, so what made you want to like put out music singing? Like, what made you not just like, because you could just be a session musician or you could just be a producer. Like, where did you get the idea, like, I want to like sing and like be an artist?
Man, going into production, bro. Going into production was a totally different ball game.
Yeah.
Totally different. And taught me to be precise and listen for things that an artist that you need to listen to in an artist.
Yeah.
And so production opened up a whole nother realm for me with understanding, okay, artistry as a musician, singer, and just painting the picture for people to see. And so that idea, I want to say, being a musician, I started seeing, and doing your study, like people from back then, Herbie and Jocko and all these phenomenal musicians, back in the late 50s, all the way up to, we'll say the 70s, musicians, matter of fact, I'll say that jazz was around the 20s, so 30, 40, 50, 60. Let's stay in that area. Musicians, you could go to a jazz bar and just be there and hear just musicians. You could go to, some musician could put on a concert like Jocko with tens and thousands of people there just to hear him play bass. Okay? That's what I want to do. I strive for these things. This is the kind of stuff I want to do. We don't live in that kind of time.
Interesting.
We live in a time where the artist is the spotlight. There goes that thing again.
Yes.
I want the spotlight.
Yeah.
I want the spotlight. So, now we talking saxophone, piano, bass,
sing.
I want the spotlight.
So I got a question. Did doing production come from that? Like, okay, now I want to make the records. Like, it seemed like everybody the producer getting the shine, so I'm gonna be a producer now.
I'm gonna be a producer, and looking at, even studying like producers and looking at like even Kanye West documentary and just seeing how everybody say it's so many stuff, it's so many principles to go back to, but all these principles is in alignment with your thoughts.
Yeah, for sure.
He thought and said, I don't want to be the producer no more. I'm tired of being, I want to be the artist. And all these thoughts that I'm having is just like, but mainly for, I think it mainly hit me with two things, because playing for other artists wasn't what I wanted to do. And that also goes back to, I could have done a lot more stuff as tours and stuff. But that was a point in time, going back to all that mental stuff I was dealing with. And that's why I say it's important to clear y'all mental, because that can affect what you do on stage. Man, you don't know it, man. Like, there was some time where I would be on stage and it's just like, I could be mentally fine then, but because of this whole process, I'm just like, I'm not feeling what I'm doing. I'm not here. I'm not there. And so, but
that is okay. Let me tell you something. That is interesting. Let me tell you why it's interesting. Every time we've played together and you went to that space, I could always tell.
Yeah.
I could never put my finger on what was going on, but I could tell you I'm like, Jayvin is not here at all.
Yeah.
It's like, if we play this one more time, Jayvin is not here.
Yeah.
And I could never.
And I never knew how to channel that mental, channel that. and it would just get in the way. Even though you're not thinking about it, it's in the way.
It's in.
It's just in the way, man. Like, no matter what you're doing, it could be something that happened a year ago. It could still be in the way.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, until you get rid of that, man, like you won't be able to press forward. Yeah, man. So you saw it first.
Yeah, I used to be like, we'll be playing something.
Boy, what is up with him today?
I'm like, what is going on with my boy? He is not here.
It won't be that bad. It'll be a note or two though.
Yeah, but no, but
No,
just past the note.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can look
You can
at you
feel-
and
you can feel
tell,
it, yeah.
like I could feel. Like, I'm like something ain't right.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Something
man.
ain't. It just ain't right.
And that's why I said in the beginning too. Music is a spiritual thing, man.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual connection amongst one another, man.
Yeah.
Our musical peers, man. When you sit down and play with somebody, you know how they live. You know everything about them. By the time you should know, I can tell you if somebody don't practice or study up on their own stuff.
Yo.
You do something in a particular genre, and you've ever had those moments where somebody move where you move off of one little note change.
Yeah.
It's because it's
Yeah.
mental
Me and
awareness.
Mario, like to this day.
Boy,
If me
yes
and
sir.
Jabra- it's like we go the same place every
Yeah.
time.
Woo.
I'm like,
Well, y'all have, man, I tell Mario all the time, people got to witness. So Mario be like, man, they just come to a show. True. Well, I want them to see that yellow jacket, boy, go crazy. But anyway, but yeah, man. So being in that position of music, I start thinking about like music. We live in today's time where music isn't the same as it. Musicians go play a show and make the artist show. That artist ain't nothing without the musicians who slave and do all that hard work. Musicians spend their lives, and not taking away nothing from the artist, but they spend their livelihood doing this thing.
yeah.
There's no type of. I'm not saying I could be ignorant to it, but on a unless you're a part of an organization, you can't just go out here and just have a retirement plan and a 401k on a tour with an artist just for a 6-week tour.
You're right.
You can't. There's no that you do that show and you take your butt home.
Yeah.
And that to me was kind of the reason why I kind of fell off from that. I never really had the passion of doing major tours,
Okay.
but that's kind of one of the reasons. I don't, I'm built, if it's the money that I need, I'm sustainable here in education doing that. And I'm doing it and I'm making what I need to make. And I'm not only that, a lot of musicians get caught up in just that area of music. Man, if you're business minded and you a go-getter, you taking that little thing you do in music and you stretching that thing out as much as you can and doing, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get it. My thing was, okay, I learned how to play piano, bass, saxophone, boom, boom. I'm about to go open up a conservatory. I'm about to still teach at the school. I'm going to do another after-school program for music. I'm going to go visit schools and do different production classes. I'm a exhaust this TikTok stuff, man. I'm a
Bro,
do some
you
production.
bro. When I say you killing that,
Oh man.
hey, when I saw you do the first one, I said, "Oh,
Oh
boy, let's go!"
Yeah,
Them joints be crazy, boy.
Man, appreciate it, bro. That mean a lot, man.
Man,
Come
them
on from my
joints be-
boy, man.
Yo, I was like, you remember I text you like, yo,
Yeah.
man, that's crazy. What made you even do that?
Man, production, just
Yeah,
deciding to. It's something I always was interested in. When I went to college, I changed my major from jazz study to music industry and business.
interesting.
Simply because I didn't want to be one of those musicians that just say, "Oh, I got a jazz study degree."
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Play this song. You still can't play it, but you got a jazz study degree. You know what I'm saying? But not just that though, but it was more so I want to expand bigger than that. I don't want to just be labeled to, oh, I know 251 progression. You know what I'm saying? That's not the case. I want to be able to say, I can open up this business. I'm educated in this. I know how to, build my finance, do marketing, promotion, and all this stuff or whatever. So that's what I want to really expand on. So that's why I changed. And I didn't want to be limited because, like I said, musicians don't get the respect that we deserve in today's time. You just a musician, you go play a tour, and God forbid you something happened to you. It's on the world keep moving. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like, who next?
Yeah, who's next?
So you felt like you could have a bigger impact in your expression if you were the out front artist.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep. And it's so what if I'm not even just I want to perform in front. Everybody had that ambition. Yeah. I would like to perform this solely in front of people just so they can have an experience and take if anything, it offers me the opportunities to help.
Yeah.
And to mold and to shape somebody else's life who might need to know, like, your flaws don't define you. Who might need to know those things.
Yes, sir.
And that's a moment. If I can have that crowd, those people, I can say, all right, I'm gonna take a pause in this show, and I'm gonna share this story with you. And this is where I'm at, and it goes all the way back to what I say, even with wisdom, seeing somebody else.
Yes.
Sometimes all you need to do is just see.
Absolutely.
You see that this person had this, and that I've been to concerts where it's been life changing.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like, dang, they really got it out the mud, and
yes, sir.
They still like so, that's what really pushed me onto this artistry thing. And also I want to be the example of just simply expressing your feelings.
Yes, sir.
And being simple and getting the point across.
Yes, sir.
And then also not just that though, but to bring the authenticity.
Yes.
Yeah. Music back, as far as what the point is. A lot of my songs has to do with just real life situation. And even this song that I got, the single, it talks about it's infinite love, and it talks about basically this thing for me was I've never been always in a relationship type person. But being able us as men, I found out one thing about me. I don't really express a lot what I really feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Why is that? Because it's like this protective shell. Like, nah, because it might not be. They might not like me like I like them, or it might not even be reciprocated the same way, or whatever. But men, us as men, most men, we channel we still show that love, but we channel it in another way, where it's not like as expressive as women express themselves.
Yeah.
And so the point of this song is I was able to be the expression of how a man really feels about somebody he really loves and is passionate for, but they can't really express it.
Wow. So this gonna be the song that the dudes play for their girl when they can't say it.
Mm-hmm.
They just gonna they gonna be chilling. He gonna be like, "Babe, listen to this."
Yep. Or it could be a wedding. It could be anything to help them. It'll be that here. Play this. You can't really tell them. A man can do this all. They can look at their girl and say,
mouth the word.
Yeah. But to sit here and be like, baby, man, I love you so much. I got to spend the rest of my life with you, blah, blah. They ain't going to say it. A lot of men. I mean, some men.
Yeah.
But, and then we live, like I said, a lot of things is based on society. A lot of women kind of look at a man as, if a man is too expressive with his feelings,
Oh yeah,
it could be taken as like, oh, he's soft-hearted.
He's soft.
He's soft-hearted. Man, play this song.
Yeah.
Just play the song, my brother.
Yeah.
Don't even tell us
that's
nothing.
fire, bro.
But that's where the idea came.
And this
from.
gonna be your first single?
This is my first single, man.
Congratulations, man.
And it came with all the past experiences of, forget it, man. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just put it out and let it be what it be, man.
That's right.
Let people feel what they feel. Just put it out and
absolutely
and keep going.
And what's the name of the song again?
Infinite Love.
By Jayvin Finch. That
By
is Jayvin Finch.
Finch.
Let's
man.
go.
Yes, so.
Y'all go check that song out, yo.
Yeah.
Let's go. My boy out here in these streets. And
man.
I'm proud of you, man, because some people know, most people know. I would assume that most people know or have their own version of getting out of those difficult mental spaces. Like, everybody's story's not the same. Everybody don't go through the same problems and issues, but I'm sure that everybody out there has had some version of trying to climb out of a hole. Whatever their hole is, bro, we all have had experiences with climbing out of our holes.
Man, it's ongoing, man. It's never ending.
Yeah.
It's a never ending cycle. You know what I also go by this, man. Problems gonna always come. But it's how you adjust to those problems.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't stop problems from coming. You can't stop, somebody from saying something negative about you.
Yeah, you can't.
It's just how you filter those things. That's where true wisdom and growth happens.
Yes, sir.
Where
In your response to things.
Yeah, in your response, man. So that's really going to be the determining factor of where you end up mentally.
Because at the end of the day, bro, the situation that happened with your hearing, you can't control that.
Can't control it.
But you can control how you respond to the rest of your life.
Yep. And I'm going to keep putting out music, doing music.
Let's go!
And the hardest part about it, I try to stay away from loud music, but I can't help it, man.
Yeah. So do you ever wear earplugs or something?
So
or do you supposed to and don't?
So here's the funny thing is, I have hearing aids that I can turn them off or whatever and on at the earplug. Thing about it, man, I just lost them boys probably a couple weeks ago.
Were they expensive?
$8,000.
Wait a minute.
So I got warranty to get some more. So
is it gonna cost again?
Nah, I get they gave me one time to lose them or whatever.
Okay, so wait, are they that small or you just?
They are you put them in your ear.
So they smaller than AirPods.
Oh yeah, way.
So they easy to lose.
Well,
if you can lose an AirPod, you would definitely lose them. So
man,
wait, were you sleep or something and lost them?
So I was wearing this coat with short pockets. And I knew I shouldn't have put it in there, man.
You need to put them in that bag next time.
Man, I need to put them in my ears next time. But that's the thing. I just always pop them on when it's just I'm in a meeting type of situation, or very intimate.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
Setting.
So you're never in pain or anything, though, right?
Nah. If I'm just have music pumping all the time, then you can feel I can feel my earache kind of thing or whatever. I used to have those things often.
Yeah. Do you ever have headaches or anything?
Nah, and that's another thing, man. You just brought me back to my other thing. I mean, I know y'all, I'm probably giving a lot of the sob story.
No, it's good, man. People need to know.
That was another thing, man. I was like, okay, ears, speech impediment. Then I had pressure in my eyes. So I get headaches sometimes from that. But I remember years ago, the doctor was like, yeah, that pressure in your eye can become glaucoma. And it basically what it does is my eye doesn't get to drain the fluid, and so it starts to dry up in the center of the eye, or whatever. But so I take eye drops for that. But and that was one of the reasons why I got that. I got in that incident, and that's another thing. Defamation of your character will happen.
Yeah.
It will happen to you, and you just have to continue to stand on who you are.
Yeah.
And remain grounded and know who you are. And I got into that incident last year.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm coping with dealing with depression, drinking, going out, trying to get away from the actual reality of my life. And but in this particular situation, I was picking up my keyboard from downtown. Me and my boy had one. I had one drink.
Yeah.
And I'm on my way back home, and 40. It's a part in Raleigh where it makes no sense. Goes from 60 mile per hour to 40 mile per hour like that. Anyway, cop pulled me over going 60, 40 mile per hour zone. Okay, that's why he pulled me over. He looks at me. Your eyes a little glazy. How you been drinking? Or glossy or whatever. How you been drinking? Your speech is slurred. I talk like this, sir. I said, I got my eye drops right here. You ain't gonna shoot me, right? Got my eye drops right here if you want to see it. And all this is, we live in a day where you got the body cam and all this stuff. So I'm breaking this stuff down to him. And cause after he addressed the speeding ticket, or not the speeding ticket, but the speeding, it was just straight to your eyes red. And my student can tell you a lot of times, if I don't take my eye drops, my eyes gonna be red. Wow. So the guy goes on, state trooper, and then he goes on he comes back to the car with a breathalyzer. And I told him I had one drink, but he had blowing his breathalyzer. I'm not blowing that. And he was like, okay, so I'm gonna need you to do the sobriety test. So step out the car for me. I get out the car, do all the stuff, and at this time in this situation, this part of my life, I learned some more things about me. But I do the test. Felt like he's shining the light in my eyes. So they do that stuff. Mind you, this that's why a lot of times I do wear shade when I'm performing. And I'm in the light.
Yeah.
Because that light. It did not do my eye good, and then I get headache, my eyes blurry when I get off stage. So that's why I'm always wearing shades a lot of times.
Yeah.
But so I did this stuff, and he was like following, and I'm like, it literally hurts my eye, and do the step by step whatever, and whatever. So then at that moment he declared, yeah, you're under arrest for drinking while whatever. So took me down to the station. My boy's with me. My boy Manuel Martinez. Shout out to him. He's like that's a brother to me.
Yeah.
He was with me, and he called his now wife. While I was down at the station, this guy called his wife from like 2 hours away. Got all my stuff out the car. They took me, my car window down, equipment in the back of the car. Bass in the car, windows rolled down. He took all my stuff, took it with him, and waited outside for me at the detention center all the way till I was released. So shout out to him. He a real one. But they took me down to the station and all this stuff, and I blew in the breathometer, whatever it is, blew under the legal limit. They still held me. I didn't get out till like 10 hours later. Made me take a mug shot. I'm a teacher, right? They put my mug shot on Twitter the next day. Everywhere, defamation of who I am. This is not who I am, and it's easy, and that's the systematic way of America to an extent. Because as soon as you could be doing anything good, it could take a lifetime to build your character, but only one mistake can just strip all of that away. And so yeah, man, all that stuff. Went back to the school. Now kids nosy. Kids are nosy.
So some of the kids that saw it.
Oh, that were kids that were trying to find me on IG and stuff. And you got some fast tail kids who oh, Mr. Finch, I want to find him on social media. And that's the first they typed my name in on Google and that popped up, man. And I went ahead and I was just, as a real one, I don't like to sugarcoat nothing with anybody too.
Yeah.
So it's just like with the kid, I told him, it was a misunderstanding, but this also is why you should listen and follow your leader and do things as you are supposed to do them, and try to keep yourself from being in those situations, because the minute something like that, anybody who don't know me, they could probably just type it in and be like, oh yeah, I'm good on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's a defamation, and don't know me, and don't know who I am and what I do. And so that's why, and I used it as a teaching lesson for the kids. Your character is everything. I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have had that drink. You know what I'm saying? And because that just brought more attention to that, which wasn't even the case. But anyway, I hired a lawyer. Lawyer, shout out to him, man. Gave him all my keyboard money, all my Sunday money, and he really fought for me. Got the case dismissed. Called out a lot of things that was like error in how they did things, and being that the state trooper was a new guy, I was supposed to have been released after blowing under the legal limit.
Wow.
All those things, and he questioned like, so why are you? What did you originally pull him over for? Did you have any or any? Were there any signs showing that he was impaired? No, I was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. So, I went through that, and also while learning that, my lawyer, he said, "Did you know?" He was like, and shout out to this guy, because it goes to back what I said, in any field, music, whatever. He's a lawyer. Not only did he just study the case, he went outside and studied. Okay, what are some of the effects on people with hearing loss? What are some of the effects on people with pressure in the eyes? What is it? So it goes to study outside of what the case really is. And so he went outside of the case to study my hearing loss. He was like, "Do you know you have an equilibrium balance, like offset? Like people with hearing loss tend to have can be unbalanced sometimes." I never put that into perspective. Sometimes my balance is horrible. And so he was like, doing that is already out the window. He can't
because in the cop's mind, he's not gonna trust what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're off balance, he's gonna say it's because you're drunk.
Mm-hmm. And I was not at it, man.
That's crazy.
And so that also brings me to, we can't always knock down our flaws, because sometimes God's flaws are the very same thing that can pull you out of certain situations.
Yeah.
And that flaw was the thing where it's just like, well, I can't control that,
Yeah.
And so yeah, man, he got me out of that mess. And to this day, it's just something I really teach the kids. Your character is everything. So
Yes, sir.
try not to, even if you have to go a step further, to even not be in the cafeteria at the same time somebody got beef with you.
Yeah, man.
Go a step further. And just like Bernard Grant would say, sometimes temptation is not an easy thing that we can flee, that especially a man can flee. That's why it says flee. That's why he said flee. He says run away.
Yeah.
You can't. There's no way you're gonna go to that.
Yeah, you can't just stay there and be all right. You got to get up out of there.
You can't go to that girl house and think it ain't gonna go. You got to run.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just learned, just in a lot of situations, don't even, if you feel, and especially if you feel that discernment, don't even put yourself in opportunities way.
I appreciate you for being here, man, and like telling your story for real.
Yeah, but I think this is probably this is gonna the first time I've actually laid like everything out there in public. So
Yeah.
man, I appreciate the platform, man. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, I'm glad you
Yeah,
did too, man.
fine,
Like
man.
it's like with you shifting your mind, putting out your single, doing this podcast. It's just the new things. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
gonna be more
absolutely.
things that you're doing for the first time after this mind shift for
Yes,
sure.
sir. Absolutely, man. And man, I got a shout out to you, man. You doing your thing, bro.
Thank you, brother.
And continue to be resilient and do what you do, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You going up. We going up. We going up.
Yo, y'all, this has been another episode of the RXS podcast with Jayvin Finch. We out.
Yeah.
Peace.